Hello and welcome to DCP episode 398. Yes,
I'm
Maybe.
Ron Burgundy.
Fran?
Not even gonna. I feel like it's bait. We're gonna go with it.
All right. How's everybody doing? Having a good week? Are we all,
Good week.
yeah?
Watts has been crying tears of joy all week.
Watts,
I've been
I was
good.
watching, okay, there was a Capcom announcement today. We're going to talk about it later, but I was watching and I'm like, oh my God,
Careful.
Watts must be flipping out right now.
Mhm.
You shall not name that game yet, or it will. That'll be 2 hours gone.
We're changing our name to the MCP,
MCP?
the MHCP, the Miss.
Mhm.
McPus.
Is that because of the new slogan I came up with?
Anyway,
Fran, how are you?
How are
How
you
you been?
guys?
What have you been up to?
Right, what's TwitchCon?
Good to be back. Saw a lot of good friends at TwitchCon.
Nice.
Oh,
if
yeah.
You saw the last moments of TwitchCon were almost with Glad eating the hot dog off of the garbage can, which he posted about. I was right there. He got his first one from the sidewalk vendor, and then little did I know, of course, after. But anyway, I had a great time. I got to see a lot of our good Destiny and streaming friends there, met some new folks. So it's always good.
Good.
A few people were nice, came up, said hello, but always good for that. And San Diego rocks for TwitchCon. So they're bringing it back, I think, next
I
year. So
saw
that's
the
good.
venue and I was like, the venue looked really nice compared to other years.
Yeah, the venue is always best because it's like on the water and you're blocks away from like a walk the strip kind of experience in San Diego. It's all touristy stuff, but it's great if you're touring, and lots of good drinks if you like the libations. But anyway, so all that was good. But the really big part about TwitchCon that they just nailed was they usually have it would have been like Megan Thee Stallion at the stadium. It's like a concert. I'm like, honestly, this sucks. Not because I don't like concerts or like Megan. I'm there to like socialize.
Yeah.
And they had a block party on those streets. So they took over like 3 blocks.
Oh, that's sick.
And you just walked around. Yeah, they just had like appetizers on the streets. They had air hockey and the drinks, of course, and
They had
like
ghetto
you just
hockey?
walked around. Yeah,
Didn't
It
they have
was
like
wild.
a silent disco part
and
of
they
that
had
as
silent
well?
disco, and
Yeah.
they had all these little themed
Please
corners.
explain
and-
further.
Yeah, wait,
What
do
is
you
a
know silent disco?
No,
Oh.
I don't.
Lots do you?
It's where everyone is listening to like the same music usually, but it's in headphones. So like if you're
Oh.
outside having a block party and there's neighbors, they don't hear like the whole
Uh-huh.
time. People are able to like listen to music as loud as they want and dance or have it low.
But
and
to
be able
everybody
to
from the
talk.
outside, it looks like just people.
Yeah.
I mean, they've
Let's
all
go.
Amazing. I love it
they
already.
all have headphones on. If you didn't know what silent disco was, you would probably be very confused though, because it's like
I'm
all these
maybe a
people
little
with, like,
scared.
I mean, that's just my general walking around state
What-
at this point.
right? Yeah.
Pretty
You
Absolutely.
could
confused.
be doing silent disco right now. We all could, to be
We
fair.
could be.
Yeah.
The other thing they do sometimes, there's like a few channels. It's like 3 different channels. So everybody's got their vibe, but you wouldn't know it, and you're all just hanging out. to
Oh,
your
wait. So
vibe.
everybody's
And
not
that's
necessarily
another
listening to
You
the same
can listen
song?
to different music. Yeah,
So-
that was the iteration of it that I really like because you could be listening to metal, I could be listening to hip hop, and we're all having a good time.
But the dancing is very different.
It could be very different. Could be.
Only like 10% of people can dance well anyway, and so
Yeah.
I feel like it works itself out. You wouldn't know if they're offbeat or not, you know?
We had one. I think it was like a bungee party, like way back in the day, and they had that, and there was like I think three or four different channels you could listen to. So everyone was just. I really like that because then you get to choose your own type of music, so you're not at the whim of a terrible DJ, and then you can hang out with your friends. Everyone's
Yep.
listening to music they like. having a
Not
good
talking to
time.
each other.
Yeah.
Dancing with
exactly.
each
It was
other.
great. But no, it was fun times.
Oh, this was actually the one where they had karaoke, and one of the channels was linked up to the karaoke.
That
So you
would
could like you could listen to
explain
it.
why when I walked through they were all singing, and I thought it was just because it was like a banging like popular karaoke song. I thought they all just naturally did it, but okay, it was a karaoke channel.
So
Could be.
are they, for the person who's singing karaoke, are they playing the music out loud for that person? Or does that person
No,
just
no,
look like a
it's-
crazy person singing out loud in the middle of the street?
Well, remember, the only people who care about your silent disco karaoke have headphones on. They can't even hear you. So just think about that for a moment.
That's true. You get to be on the
Good point.
stage showing out, and no one can hear you. Unless they choose to.
Because
So you could just lip sync instead of actually singing.
You could fake
You
it.
could.
You could totally fake it. You know, people cheat though, and they probably get in trouble for it. You know, they're like, "What's good? Oh, you're not even singing." It's a whole new world.
Are there silent karaoke disco cops?
Oh, I don't know. But you know, I'll tell you that what I'm excited about thinking about it is, you know, we've seen these Snapchat spectacles maybe and Apple Vision Pros. Like what the next version of the silent disco is going to be awesome. They're going to have
Man,
goggles,
laser light show.
goggles and like, you know, I don't know what they're going to be seeing, but it's going to be amazing.
I'm just gonna have like 100 dancing nude Frans in front of me. It's gonna be amazing.
That's part. Hey, only Fran's. As long as I get a cut.
France. Wow, Brian's having a really good time over there.
Yeah, that's a good one. Good show so far.
So come next year. I believe it's in October of next year's.
So
I want
never been
that
to a
like virtual
TwitchCon,
reality
like
or what is it? Enhanced reality? What do they call it when you can like see through
augmented
them?
reality.
Augmented. Thank you.
Augmented.
I want that to be real because I could see so many good uses for that. But
I mean,
man,
it is real with
doing
Apple
it.
Vision Pro. It just depends on what you're doing with it.
I mean,
Budget.
Doing it for Monster Hunter in Japan.
Yeah.
oh yeah, are they really?
Myelin, what?
Mm-hmm.
You haven't been to
I
TwitchCon,
saw
you said, Myelin?
Yeah, but before moving back to that,
Yeah.
I saw an augmented thing. You know, Phasmophobia, where you got to like
yeah.
find haunted items.
Cool. Yeah.
They walk through their house. It's scanning their house, and then you play
Ooh.
Phasmophobia in your house.
Oh,
I was like,
That's
big
traumatic.
no.
That
Big
sounds
no.
very dangerous. A loved one's gonna end up getting shanked by accident out of fear.
Is that a mod, Myelin?
I don't know. I saw a
Sounds like it.
clip of it, and because it's augmented
gotta
too,
be.
like it made it dark because you have the goggles on, so you had to use a torch too. But it was like lighting
my
up
God.
your house.
oh, that's amazing.
That's very cool.
It'd be
That
fun to
must-
do
that
like
is
an
very cool.
escape room kind of thing with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
escape rooms with
yeah.
that would be very cool.
Yeah, I
I'd
was
be
gonna
down
say.
to do it outside of my abode where I
Yeah.
can't.
Where my
Cause-
cats are safe.
Those nightmares.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, as long as I'm not going to trip and fall on like a rusty nail, I would be down to go to an actual like haunted house, scan it out, and like that would be the experience.
That would be crazy.
That'd be
Very
amazing.
scary. It would be amazing. Yeah.
You just made me think about the future of gaming. You're always wondering, you're like, what's around the
There you
corner
go.
with AI and augmented, and like that's a solid one
Have
right
you-
there.
Have you been to the mobile VR places, like a warehouse where you have like a backpack and the VR headset? you run
No, we
around?
have a couple in San Francisco.
No, but I've used the
Yeah.
Quest, the Meta Quest, which is like it's wireless. I've used that in the backyard, which is pretty fun.
Oh yeah, it fences you off.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah,
I went to
no.
one in Melbourne. There's like it's just like a big warehouse, and it looks like a silent disco because there's people just running around and they're just in a warehouse. You're like, that looks stupid. But when you get in there, like they're in a house or in you know a level with zombies and stuff. They're just like
That's
running around
awesome.
shooting stuff. Yeah.
Check it
You'll
out.
hear me going screaming from across the room, like, "Oh God, what's going on over there?"
I remember
Yeah.
seeing a demo years and years ago now, but it was for Microsoft. Remember they had like an augmented reality thing? I can't remember what it was called, but I don't think it ever came out, or if it did, it just went to like businesses. But they showed a demo of you being able to build like Minecraft worlds, but like in your
yeah.
house. So you'd be able to
Ooh.
like imagine a kid playing in his room with these and building like Minecraft around his room, and it was attached to like the walls and the floors and the chairs and the beds in his room. It was the sickest demo. I don't think it ever like anything ever happened with it, but HoloLens, yeah. Chat, thank you.
Yeah, I
Let's
mean, that
face
is-
it. You just want it for Warhammer, right? Don't you, Briar?
Look at this guy. I just finished this guy today.
Oh
huh?
God, you brought
Look
up
at him.
Warhammer.
Oh
I
yeah.
forgot about
Look at
that.
him.
Look at him again. That
Wow.
must have been
Just
1.2
imagine.
seconds that he had that in his hand.
Well, my work table's like right here.
Look what you've done, Myelin.
Just imagine
HoloLens.
having your
They're saying HoloLens was the name
Yeah.
of
Paintbrushes.
the name of it.
That did
imagine
look
having your
awesome.
augmented glasses on and the battlefield being, you know, illuminated on the table, and then
Mm.
your little
I'd use it when
Warhammer
I'm
figures.
painting. They were like, "See, what are my soldiers doing over there?" Oh, he's dead. Needs repaint.
That would be sick for Warhammer because you could like see like the blasts and like the
Yeah.
battle damage on the
That'd be really cool
vehicles.
for D&D too.
Yeah, D&D would be
All
sick.
that.
I want an augmented version of Warhammer where they paint Briar. He's just standing there and he's getting painted. He's
You
like,
don't
"Oh
need
my
it. You just
God,
come
they
on
gave-
over and get started. I got the paints ready to go.
They gave me a gold nose.
Let's start off with a nice blue.
That's a small amount of blue.
Well, I got plenty of bottles.
Briar, just to check in for the fans, because I learned a little something through you. Are we still spending 7 or 8 hours just to prime them?
I've gotten faster, but I
You-
am investing in an airbrush.
Okay. He's not like detailed.
Oh,
All right,
man.
they're all gray. Now I can paint them.
Briar, do you have the zoomy glass eye thing so you can go boop boop boop? Good. That's
Whoa.
pretty close.
Wow.
Good. You need like in Toy Story where they're fixing the guy that fixes up the toys.
Yeah,
You tick, tick. You need
Yeah.
one of those.
yeah,
I definitely need one of those.
Yeah. You need one of those. What's the point in doing it if you can't have one of those? It's part of the fun.
Well,
Oh, yeah. I've never been to a TwitchCon.
mm.
So like, what
Come
else
next year,
happens there?
dude.
You just like it's like a social event. Like what else
Yeah,
are you looking
it's-
for?
I don't know if any of you cons that you've been to are mostly like for social, but obviously like TwitchCon itself, like you can go to panels where they're doing maybe your favorite speedrunners doing something.
Oh, I have like a
that's-
bunch of panels on, right?
stuff like that can be cool, or they have like industry style panels where it's like like from like people who are really successful, like just hearing their perspective. If you're into that stuff, it's got it. But most people, I think, that are streamers themselves, it's a lot about, oh, I finally met so and so, got to grab a drink and like chat about how things are going in content creation, like face to face. That's what I find it valuable for. And then of course,
Yeah.
anyone who knows you, that's great if you can meet people from DCP and your community, etc.
Well, apparently this year you went to cheat on your spouse.
You know what's crazy,
That's
Watts?
the
I
drama.
miss this. Is this from the Kick nonsense? Or
There was a bunch of kick nonsense and then there's other nonsense, but there's just constant posts coming up of like this person cheated on their spouse at TwitchCon. This person cheated on this person. I don't know what's going on. It's a place you go to cheat on your
thought
spouse.
you would
apparently.
Well, thank God I didn't go.
Fran of cheating.
I don't have a I can't cheat. I don't have a spouse. So I was-
Okay, we're doing this live.
Fran, I heard and okay. Whoa.
I mean, that
heard you
happens there
dance
too.
in augmented reality around Briar.
Yeah. No, I only got a hangover and a few skip gym days, unfortunately. So it wasn't as exciting for me.
He
You
was
just cheated on
grinding in a
yourself,
silent
Fran.
disco. That's what he
Should
was
have hit the silent disco.
doing.
Anyway.
Yeah. We're gonna hit up a different kind of silent disco. Destiny news. I don't think that really works, but
No. Close
Oh,
enough.
maybe-
I give you
Uh,
credit. Partial credit.
it could if you think about it real hard and fill in some gaps.
Lucky for us, it's
Um,
one of those classes you just got to show up.
we
We do have some big news this week, though.
We did. We got developer insights and we got a freaking meaty twab. So I will try and go through this in a reasonable manner. But as always, if you want to get the super duper 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 details, you're going to want to probably read it yourself or find someone who has read all of the 2.5% increase or 2.3% decrease. So the developer insight, the first one we're going into is raids and dungeons. I'm going to hit you with the TLDR.
Yeah.
So if you can keep this in your mind, that's all you need to know. And we'll get into some more details. So every year we'll kick off with a brand new raid as part of the first expansion. The following major update will then expand on this raid, adding new challenge, twists, and rewards. The second expansion each year will deliver a new dungeon with an expanded reward offering. And then the fourth and final major update of the year will launch an event that leverages legacy raid and dungeon content along the lines of the Pantheon.
Okay.
So raid, expand the raid, dungeon, expand the dungeon, and add Pantheon.
Yeah, and maybe a way to code it would be previously you might have been used to 2 dungeons a year with the dungeon key. So no longer a dungeon key. Now you get 1 dungeon per year, which releases sounds like in the latter half of the year, and that's split across. Again, each year has a medium-sized expansion. And so yeah, it starts with the raid for the first expansion, and second expansion gets the dungeon. And then yeah, they said they love Pantheon, they're working on something like it that would come kind of at the tail end of Frontiers.
Right.
Yeah.
I already kind of forgot the cadence of the new things happening next year. If it was like,
That's why I was. Did that make any sense?
but they're just four. I can't remember though, because there's not one big expansion. There's 4.
There's
two
one.
two medium expansions.
Yeah, Frontiers is so. This is the part that confused people. I think Frontiers is the year, and let's call it the theme. I don't know, the project, but really, there's 2 expansions coming, A and B, within that year now. A is actually called Apollo. B is called Behemoth. Split 6 months apart. So that's.
But they're like medium. They're not like what we would expect with a big
Correct.
expansion.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And
so one of them's going to have the raid, and then you're going to have a raid update, and then you're going to have a dungeon, and then
B has the
Pantheon
dungeon
stuff.
Yes.
Got it.
And it
There we go.
launches with them both. Yeah. That's a good
Nailed
way
it.
maybe to put it. Yeah. And then the only part that continues to confuse me that I will forget is each A has a season and B has a season.
Oh,
But
that's right. The
within there,
seasons go
that's
for
what
like half the year.
Right, but it's confusing because the reward pass, there are 4 of them still. And they are not tied to the season.
Because there's 4 major updates.
And that's where I should probably just stop talking. But they're just called major updates. So they're, I think it's all, free
There are
major
4
update stuff. So.
free major updates.
I
Besides,
lost them
like, of
after
course, the paid pass. Anyway, this is not important. There's a raid in the dungeon.
Yeah. Okay.
That's like, I thought I understood. Now I'm confused. I'm sorry.
Okay, so raids. Okay, yes.
But can I ask, I mean, with that change, right? Before it was roughly a raid a year, 2 dungeons a year. And I know everybody is changing their pace of Destiny, but how do you guys feel about that change? Just
Right, there's one
dungeon.
new raid, 1 new dungeon, when before it was like 1 new raid, 1 returning raid, and then 2 dungeons within a season pass year. Seasonal season.
Mm-hmm. So like maybe that's as simple, like does losing a dungeon, we don't know the pricing and other details around it, but does it strike
The
you
one
in
thing
any
we do
particular
know
way?
that I'll add before you give your thoughts on it is there will no longer be a dungeon key. It will just be a part of the expansion that the dungeon comes in.
Right.
So it's not a separate purchase for dungeons anymore.
Yeah, there's no longer a key.
Good.
Yeah.
But no, I was asking you guys, do you have any gut reaction to that? Or you're like, I don't care. Because
I don't care, honestly. But what I do care about is what we talked about last week was like what is going to be like the main like focus of their work for a season, and how are they going to, because it seems like they're trying to up their production by quite a bit. So I'm just curious to like what a season's going to look like, and like what an expansion's going to look like, and like how's that going to be presented. And is it going to feel significantly different than what we've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years? Or is it just going to feel the same with a new package put around it? Because it's got to feel pretty different for me to get excited about it at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But the raid in the dungeon, to me, that's fun for a weekend, and then I kind of forget about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think dungeons are probably my favorite part of content, because you can do it as a team, and then you can like grade it to do it solo. And I think that's probably my favorite content in Destiny, is like solo dungeons with mechanics. And they're also really good to introduce players to Destiny, because you're not in a 6-person raid. You like anytime we've had like a promo with Bungie, I've taken people into dungeons like almost straight away, because it's the best content. It's so fun to see, like solving a puzzle and then doing DPS, and there's just nothing that really exists in gaming, I feel like, in a first-person shooter that's even close to that. So, I always like dungeons, but I also think it's a lot of work to go into it, and I don't know how much people like replay dungeons compared to other contents. I think that's what Briar's saying, is like all the other meat needs to be there too, right, with each season to keep people engaged. And then you have that pinnacle content off to the side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so, I mean, it doesn't bother me like in the where I'm at with Destiny. Like I'll jump in to play the dungeons and the raids, and if I'm having a good time, I'll try solo them, or solo the dungeons as well. But I'm not upset by losing dungeons. I think the other content's more important, the replayable stuff, like you have with the little mini, what's it called, Into the Light. That kind of activity stuff is going to be more important.
Yeah.
Watts, what about you?
I don't mind at all.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't mind.
Yeah, for me, I would actually put out there. It's like I'm not looking to play Destiny more, and it's not shade. I always have to remind people that I don't play like as many hours as a lot of people out there. I've played Destiny for over 10 years, and I always keep up with the content. So in other words, when I take a meal in this restaurant that is Destiny 2, I like a good meal, but I don't want to keep going back every week on week, and and some people like that. I don't know how I got to that, but must be hungry for dinner. But anyway, so with that, I do think they're facing a big issue here, which is like, look, no matter how you slice it, I think Watts is still going to get into this part, but like they're going to try to extend the raids and change things up a bit. And same with the dungeons. But end of the day, it sounds like it's going to be less content. So some people are just losing out flat out on a dungeon. And for me, that is still a loss because I really enjoy seeing the craft of what they do. Even if some of it is a little like played out, I'm still like, honestly, like I've enjoyed all the dungeons. Some of my favorite parts, as Myelin said. And I feel the same way about really good strikes and really good raids. Raids remain harder to maintain and get into. It's still very difficult to get teams together. And like, I think they got to look at ways to play just encounters from raids and make that easier without all the hassle. And treat them as just good individual good times versus like, hey, I got to be here for 3 hours. But anyway, so
I think if they lose a dungeon, but that opens up more opportunity to make sure the gameplay loop and the activities feels fresh, and replayable. I think it would be better overall for the player base, right? It's like,
that's a good way to.
You want those things
put
to
it.
grind to then do the pinnacle stuff.
Yeah, and like I like seasonal type activities and stuff too, actually, to be fair. Again, as long as it's really interesting. And so as they talked about Metroidvanias and roguelites and stealth or whatever, like let's see, maybe they play with like little mini events that I can just enjoy for a few weeks. So that could be a benefit that they offset it.
Now, there's more information that might make you feel better or worse. We'll see. So, raids will continue to offer a complete pool of exclusive weapons, armor, and exotics, and they're going to be able to be obtained at higher tiers by taking on additional challenge. So we talked about the 1 through 5 tier weapon. They also said they are exploring some unique twists on the raid format, but this is an area that they're not going to talk about much because they don't want to ruin any day one experiences. So that is kind of a thing where you got to be like, okay, do your thing. And understand you can't tell me, well, we're doing this thing. I get that.
That's pretty interesting because that doesn't sound like a mechanic. It sounds like they wouldn't just be like, hey, you don't have to stand on plates anymore.
Right. It's a unique twist on the raid format.
Yeah, so, like structurally or like the format of it, not just what you have to do in the raid. Interesting.
Yeah. The next thing is raid feats. So they say here, our current iteration of master raids and challenges have followed a similar format for a few years, so now it's time to change the formula. Starting with codename Apollo, new raids will support a raid-specific form of challenge customization where players can select modifiers called feats. Feats will expose and enforce rules such as time trials, contest combatants, or other mode modifiers unique to the raid. The more feats active during a run, the better the chance to earn higher tiered rewards.
Oh, is this toggleable contest mode?
It could be, yeah. If you can just put on contest combatants, that sounds like you can just turn on a contest mode.
Yeah, and if you, as a reminder, if you check their previous talk of Frontiers, how they're adding a bunch of different like modifier type things you can select, and like so, I think it's all part of that theme. I do think that through this whole exercise of how do we not iterate, but maybe break and experiment, make things more replayable, even like you got to stretch the content more, but in an inventive way. I mean, I think we could see at least like that's what they need to do. They need to experiment more. So even though part of me is like, man, I probably am not interested to, twist things up, so to speak. And like Pantheon did some of that too, right? And that's good. But yeah, I think they need to start doing it. In other words, to get to these next iterations. So. And I like the sound.
Yeah.
If you're going to do like challenges and feats, like I think they're a great way to get replayability out of end game content. But You gotta make sure there's a reward there too, because like
Yep.
it can't just be like a triumph or something, like an extra whatever points. It's
You
you
get
know
a tier 5 hand cannon, man.
you get good rewards or what?
You get a higher chance of getting the high tiered rewards.
Okay.
So tier 5 of your weapon versus getting tier 1 with the regular potentially.
Okay. See if it's enough.
Yeah, we'll see. Now that is what's launching with Apollo. So that's the raid. They're spicing it up a little bit, and there's going to be feats that you can do where you can switch it up a little bit. Feats.
Thanks.
Then we have with the first major update following Codename Apollo. So this should be the second major update of the year because there's a major update that launches with Apollo,
Did you
right?
say it? Behemoth size expansion?
No. That makes it confusing. The first major update
Oh, the major update, I'm
following
sorry.
Apollo.
I screwed it up.
Okay, the raid will receive a challenge update. So they're going to add new rewards, new mechanics, new feats, and potentially new encounters. Okay. And then this update will kick off with its own raid race event and be a venue for experienced raiders to further challenge their skills. In addition to the highest tiers of the raid rewards being available from these challenges, new and exclusive rewards will be added as well, including new weapons and the catalyst for the raid's exotic weapon. So they're making it more challenging, adding new mechanic, new rewards, potentially new encounters, and the raid exotic. That's with the first major update. How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any strong reaction to that. I'm like, they're just gonna try to stretch things out above all, like we were just talking about. Personally, I don't play, the raids enough to be someone that's like super excited by that. But again, I think it's a good thing because they'll be experimenting with how to get more out of these really cool experiences. And they admit it themselves. I think they talk about it more in the next part here too. But it's like giving you reasons to replay stuff like exotic missions and raids, etc. They've got to come up with more inventive ways. Like that one thing I think we'll still get into it. They're like enemy placements are always the same in an exotic mission and stuff like that. Like they really need to rethink that. And so it's very minimum. It'll be good to see what they come up with.
I think my only thing is I don't want to feel like we're getting a raid that's clearly missing an encounter and then you get that encounter in the first update after that. If it feels like a good full raid experience and then I'm getting something added to that good full raid experience, then I think that's great because obviously making one new encounter for a pre-existing raid is a lot less work than making it a whole ass new raid. So I think they have the capacity to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Is it like the first one you play? Is it missing a slice of pizza, or is it the full pizza and you get a little bit of dessert after it? Or
at the Destiny restaurant. See, I knew it.
So if I play, and that's also if they end up having a raid that doesn't hit as hard, which we've seen with raids that they've done. People could then end up being like, it's because they're holding back the encounter for the next update. And that could cause problems. But the Destiny community complains a lot anyway, so I don't think it really matters. But, well, all communities, especially with live service games, complain a lot.
That's true.
You see so I think we'll just have to see how the Apollo raid feels. Let's see, but like I'm fine with this personally. If you're adding a new encounter and new weapons and new rewards and all that stuff with another update, I think that's fine for me. Then we get to talk about dungeons. So, with codename Behemoth, which is the second expansion of the year, they will have a brand new dungeon. And this will be launching as part of course, the Behemoth expansion. They will no longer need a separate dungeon key, which we talked about. Additionally, now this I do like, the reward offering for new dungeons will be expanded to include full weapon and armor sets on par with raids. So normally when dungeons come out, you're like, they don't have a full suite of like weapons and all that stuff. because there's 2 dungeons, but now you're going to be getting all of that on par with raids in this dungeon.
But I was trying to remember, I'm like, wait, what
I like
is the
that.
difference? It's the difference between like 3 weapons versus 7, and that's it? Because there is a full set of armor, right? Like, what else am I missing?
Yeah, you'd normally get
You
a
see what
full
I'm
set
saying?
of
Like,
armor, but and you get an exotic, and I
and
couldn't
you get a
off the
couple
top of my head
weapons,
how
right?
many weapons you would get, but yeah, maybe it's more just that is what they mean, is it?
Well, I am sure. Maybe it's even more. I'm trying to remember. Like, you have Indebted Kindness with Warlord's Ruin, and then the exotic, and then, of course, full set of armor. So I was like, well, maybe it is a lot more weapons now I think about it. I can't remember the other ones in there, but
Yeah, I
But that-
can't
but
I
that-
can't remember.
it will be good to have a full set, of, I guess, weapons is what I'm hearing here for the dungeons.
Yeah. Of course, like we had early dungeons that didn't come with their own armor sets, but it's kind of been normal now for a
Mhm.
while with the recent dungeons for them to have armor.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at Warlord's Ruin
Mm.
loot table. Bow, and then obviously the Buried Bloodline exotic. Sniper rifle, sword, sidearm.
Oh,
And
is
then
that
all
it?
the armor.
Are those exclusive? All of those?
I don't know. I'm just looking at a loot table.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was trying to remember. I mean, there's so much loot in this game. Like, it'll be nice to have, but I will say, yeah, that
Is it fair to say that like dungeon weapons, I feel like are not as memorable as raid weapons,
Yes,
apart
I
from the
think that's fair.
exotics?
Besides the exotic, yeah. I
Whereas
think
like
so.
raid
I
weapons,
mean,
I
and
always feel
Indebted
like
Kind.
always like really on theme and quite memorable and quite powerful. Whereas dungeons, I usually find is like I actually really like the armor set in most dungeons, and then
Mm.
the exotic. But I don't feel like I've chased many weapons from dungeons.
It's a good point. I think part of it is like the design. I
Yeah.
definitely have gotten a number of really good weapons out of, like, Indebted Kindness is just the banger right now, so that's an easy one. But yeah, like, the design is everything is so well handcrafted. Like, even Indebted Kindness, to me, it's not like it feels like a Warlord's Ruin weapon, if that makes sense. And maybe that's part of it is, but yeah.
It kind of,
it's a good
it
point.
has felt like, and we got this with one of the dungeons, is like they just threw in some armor that was going to be in the Eververse store, and they put that in there, and like, oh, this is the dungeon armor. So it can kind of feel sometimes that dungeon stuff feels a little bit like where they throw stuff they don't know what to do with.
Good
That is
point.
my favorite set though. Back in the day, was it Prophecy? Oh, baby.
Yeah, Prophet. I loved that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I loved it.
That'll be a nice change the more I think about it.
Yeah, I think that'll be good. Next we have new rad event, which is supposed to be raid, but they still haven't updated it to say raid, so we're saying rad. New rad event.
That sounds rad to me.
Destiny 2 Into the Light introduced a raid boss rush event called the Pantheon that put Fireteam's capabilities to the test. This event showed us that our community is hungry for new experiences that break out of the mold of our traditional raids and dungeons. So in the 4th major update of the year, it's the last one, we're planning for another event that introduces novelty and allows our team to experiment with legacy raid and dungeon offerings to create surprising aspirational challenges. So, something akin to Pantheon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. It could mean raid and dungeon, you're right.
Yeah.
Rad event.
Yeah,
Because it's not just raids, it's dungeons. We're the idiots.
Yeah, I mean, Pantheon was a big hit for the community that loves
Yeah, it was
raiding as
huge.
well. Like, everyone loves it. I had actually already, I thought that they were going to bring something back even before Frontiers hit, maybe. I was like, why wouldn't they just bring Pantheon back to some degree next year, at least, just to take the dust off, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, for this, let's say that is, what would that be? Like a year and a half away or something? Whenever that comes back. I do think it's nice to not only, look at doing Pantheon stuff with raid, but dungeon stuff now too. And that's, smart.
Yep.
Recycle, but in a good way.
Well, I've always said that like Bungie put so much time and effort. I've been saying this for years, probably 8 years. They put so much time and dev time and effort into creating these things, and they just do not use them. They just let them die and then never use them again. Like, we've had so many really good things that have come along that we've all enjoyed, and it just disappears. Like, they
Mhm.
could have, there's so many activities they could have kept adding rooms to and adding loot to, but just never did it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it feels like that's the conversation here, and it's a necessity now. Like their team is back down to a size it was, pre-pandemic times and whatnot. And they got to think, they got to be creative. So yeah, like reuse stuff. But yeah, I don't mind replaying exactly to your point. Some of this really good stuff, but reinvent it. And again, the Pantheon showed that, or even just something not too wild, like Into the Light. Like they did reuse a number of assets there, but like in a really smart way. And everybody's like, yeah, this is great because the core gameplay is so solid and polished. And
Yep.
I have 1,000 weapons to use, so it's it's a good idea for sure.
That's pretty much it with that. The raid and
Mhm.
dungeon update, by the way. That was
Yeah, my last
was
thought
really
on that will only be is like the new state of Destiny. As much as I'm totally down to like replay this polished stuff, it'll be interesting to see the reaction to if we don't have enough new stuff, because it does sound like it's gonna be less, but we'll see. We don't know that yet. If they create enough new like activities and major event update type stuff, that is.
God, it's so
Over
hard to
there.
make Destiny. It's such an impossible
It's a-
job.
yeah. Yeah. I would not want to work on this game.
They, I mean, part of the reason why I am very optimistic and positive about this, it was just like what you said, Watts. It's like, why don't they reuse some of this stuff? It's really good, and you see other games do this, and like maybe we'll talk about it later on the show. I've been playing Witchfire, which is like a roguelite that was inspired actually by Destiny and Dark Souls, and like I was like, there's your mode right there. Like this, you can't obviously make a whole game, but like there's a lot of constructs from other games that if you take the polish and even areas that we've seen in Destiny, I think you could do something really cool. Like one of my favorite seasons that I always bring up is Season of the Lost, I think, where we were getting upgrades to kind of see platforms in that shadow world,
Yeah.
the Ascendant realm. And like it was a cool twist on it. I thought, oh, they're going to do more of this. Okay, a little Metroid style almost, right? Get to the ice wall and I got to get my fire beam upgrade or whatever. And I thought we'd see more of that, but then we didn't. They
Yeah.
for whatever reason. So hopefully more of that. I think they could really flex on the base they have while hopefully, still adding some of this new stuff.
The next developer insight is Combatant Modifiers. So I don't know how deep you guys want to get into this. Because there's a bit it's actually not too much. There's a lot of videos, which takes up a lot of the stuff. So I'll start with the TLDR because that gives you a good idea of what we're getting into. We are investing more than ever before in our activity modifier system. Activities will be updated with a library of modifiers that can change how you approach combat on every playthrough. Combatants will gain varied powers and buffs in order to create new gameplay threats and encourage changes in player strategy, especially for the higher challenge levels. So, they're talking about, they start with a first class modifier system. So they're really trying to make this whole new system. So what they're going to be doing is creating combatant focused modifiers that change the way players approach combat on every playthrough with Banes, enemy modifiers, and combat modifiers. Designing modifiers so that they can combine to create a wide variety of experiences, and reduce barriers to entry and time to fun by reducing the number of build crafting necessary modifiers and replacing them with new combat modifiers. So you can't be like, I don't have a good shield piercing gun and a good overload gun. I have to go get another one. I don't have a good one. I'm restricted to this. Hopefully doing some more interesting stuff. Perhaps. So here are the Banes.
Yeah.
Okay. So here are two of the Banes that are releasing in episode 2 Revenant, and this is part of their new system.
Few weeks.
It is a few weeks, actually, yeah. Meteors and Shock. The Meteor's Bane gives combatants the ability to launch solar projectiles that track but can be shot down. Shock will continuously build up a charge that will discharge on a single target within line of sight, and killing a unit with this Bane causes it to spread to others nearby. And then they have a little bit of a video showing you what it actually looks like. So they can shoot balls that track you. That looks terrifying.
Yeah,
Good
actually, I don't remember the boss name. There's that one Cabal boss that shoots these meteors in the boss room. You're like in that domed room
Mm.
or whatever.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
a battleground. But anyway, I think it's those to give you perspective on. So they're going to add that randomly, I think, to some enemies. We'll get that Bane sometimes. They're testing that, this upcoming episode, as well as Shock. And then there's other ones to talk about. But I do think
Mhm.
that's good. Again, like they're really starting to go even more deep down that path of like, we've seen it in other MMOs and probably League of Legends and stuff, which I've never played, but just all these little modifiers and things of same enemy, but doing some wild different stuff that you can be afraid of.
Yeah, and these are
Um,
like modifiers that you're going to be able to attach to different activities you're doing. So I guess it's kind of the idea of like you're picking which ones you want to fight against. So they said they would be more interesting than just everything has a void shield and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So this is more interesting than that for sure. We do have another one. These are in development Banes, so the other ones we're definitely getting those next episode, but these are ones that are in development and can
TBD.
potentially change. So
Mhm.
they have Berserk. Killing combatants with Berserk causes other combatants nearby to engage. We've seen that in other games before. So in that kind of
Mhm.
situation, you probably want to not kill them near all of the other enemies. Like maybe you want to separate them or you want to get the other enemies weak first and then you kill that one.
That
The
sounds
other
like it's gonna
one,
be so annoying, that one.
I mean, it sounds
it's
like
gonna be rough.
that's a Titan's heaven. That you kill one and they all charge you. Then you just line them up,
Keep them
punch them
coming.
down.
And to visualize it for those listening, imagine like a purple mushroom cloud over a fallen's head, and it's like running around, and you're like, oh crap, it's near too many enemies, and choose when you kill it, kind of thing. So
Yep. The other one is punchable. Punchable combatants are immune to all range damage and damage from status effects until they're hit with a melee attack.
Hmm.
Pretty simple.
yeah, that one. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Seems like a normal thing to do, and the champion style things they've been doing. And then I saw Glad had like a really spicy take on it. He was totally against it, I believe. So I have to find it. But he was just sort of like, just that it forces you maybe into certain builds. I'll see if I can find it. But yeah, I could see that one being a bit more. But I guess we'll see. A bit more annoying is what I was trying to say.
The other one that we have is nuclear. Once a unit with the nuclear bane reaches low health, it begins an arming sequence. If the unit is not defeated before the sequence completes, it explodes a massive fiery shockwave. These are definitely a lot more interesting than what Destiny has done before. Like, they require you to interact with them in different ways rather than just like, put on your void weapon, put on your overload weapon, bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah.
Which I do think is better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, by
Yeah,
the way,
if you asked me to choose between this and Champions, I would choose this for sure.
Yeah.
Still not a fan of Champions, and in fact,
Mhm.
other games have introduced Champion systems. Like Once Human
They
has it
have.
now, and it's so fucking annoying. And it just reminds me of Destiny every time.
Yep.
Yeah, what Glad had said about the punchable was forcing melee in a great feeling shooter and limiting what a player can use will always divide the room. That's why I don't like champions. I just want to shoot bleep with my favorite guns.
I mean, this feels
That's fair.
more autonomy than Champions. Like
It
you're
does,
less
yeah.
locked in than Champions. But this isn't replacing Champions, though, is it? This is just
Mm-mm.
In addition to
modifiers you put on as well.
Modifiers you can add, that increase
Yeah.
the challenge, which then increase your loot.
Yeah.
Yep. Now what it says here with enemy modifiers, we're nearly at the end of this one.
Yeah.
While Banes will appear intermittently on individual units, enemy modifiers are used to change base aspects of all enemies in an activity. For example, under a certain enemy modifier shipping in Revenant, some enemies may have copied some tricks about booby trapping their drops from a famous Scorn Baron. So you're gonna have like exotics drop on the floor and be like, "Oh, an exotic," and then you go die.
Yeah, I wasn't sure
Uh,
which that was referencing. I'm sure somebody
The
maybe in
trickster or
chat will get
whatever.
The trickster, yeah.
Is that what it dropped, like bomb engrams or something?
Yeah.
I don't even
Yeah, there were
remember.
exotic engrams on the floor, and then you
Okay.
went to
They
pick them
blow
up.
up.
They blew up.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And then you have combat modifiers. Modifiers aren't just about changing enemies, they can affect players too. Surge mods are a classic modifier type that's been used for years, but we've come to realize that too many forceful build crafting modifiers can become barriers. So we've been working to create new modifiers that are more accepting of varied strategies and builds. So they don't actually have any examples for that one. But they do seem like they don't want to limit your builds, and they want you to instead have to interact with combatants in a more interesting way, or like change your strategy, but not necessarily change your build.
Yep.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think the balance is like it. So if something feels impossible with your current build, then it's gone too far, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like it should be more effective to like play in a certain way, but if you want to like kind of get through, maybe you'd be less effective with what you've got on, and then just kind of finding that middle point where like champions just do too much. Like you need to have a specific weapon on, they heal very quickly, or they just teleport, they do high damage, they have high health, like they just kind of have everything across the board. Whereas like
Yeah.
hopefully a modifier, even though I know they're still going to be together, but like this idea that still giving you some flexibility but increasing the challenge too, and it's also initiated by you as well.
Yeah.
We do have some FAQs, and then you can
Mhm.
give your overall thoughts. So they said, what about champions? Will they be using Banes? Champions do still exist in our future for modifiers, but they won't have Banes. So you won't have to deal with an Overload champion who is also
A
Berserk.
punchable, yeah,
Yeah,
a punchable,
you
a
can only
punchable
punch.
champion. Great, yeah.
Can Bane stack on an enemy? In Revenant, only one Bane can be present on an enemy at a time. So
Yeah. So wink and a nod, they're exploring the idea of them stacking. It's what it sounds like to me.
yeah.
Mm.
Are you replacing all the old modifiers with these new ones? No, we're trying to strike a balance of keeping the best of the old modifiers that work well with the new ones, but these new modifiers raise the bar enough that we will most likely start to retire the old ones over time. Yeah,
Dobby?
I think it
Yeah.
sounds pretty
My,
good.
yeah, I think again, I think all of this mixing it up and using the base of what you have and like trying to get the most out of what's there in a more inventive way. So I think some of these the hard position they're in, right, with the staff size, with the budget probably, et cetera, like it's forcing them to be creative. But I do think it's been long overdue in some ways, and I think out of it, it's going to be a tumultuous time, I think. But I think there'll be some good things. But again, like the big question will be like, is mixing all this stuff up, is there going to be enough new content and new feeling stuff to really make you want to continue to play all this stuff? Because as they've even said, we're 10 years in, I think as the community's feeling, everything feels so similar. Yeah, it's like one of their bigger issues. And like, will mixing
Yeah.
up, having a nuclear enemy on the field, even though it's just like a fallen still, is that going to be enough? And I'm not saying it isn't, but I think that's where they're at. Like, how do we change the face of this enough without it just feeling like, well, the strike's still the same and we added some modifiers? Like, they've really got to make it feel different. For me, the way that Destiny has evolved, maybe to just like compare it, is over time as they added so many particle effects and then like mods and stuff that enhance your builds, like that has been a real impact, right? It's been a bit of a slow creep, I think. But to me, when I look at Destiny today, I'm like, dang, it's just so explosive. Where before, right, it was like you're in there with just like a hand cannon and a shotgun, and like it was maybe an electric effect on your shotty.
When Firefly went off, you're like, whoa!
Yes. Yeah. It was that. Like literally
Yeah.
like it was like you got one balloon for your birthday occasionally kind of feeling. You're right. And now it's just nuts. But that I think
It
it's
is
been a
nuts.
good thing. And so again, can they kind of put this layer on top of that too and make it feel like when I go back to a strike, you're like, oh dang, this is much different. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
All right. We now have a TWAB. Now there's a lot of stuff from the Crucible strike team in here that is literally like graphs and percentages. So I will not be going over that portion. I'll just be going over
It's
the
a
main
lot.
portions. It's like the graphs are crazy. So you definitely want to read this stuff with the graphs because it gives you some extra context. So I definitely recommend reading through the TWAB. We got some exciting stuff. We got to see the name of the new dungeon and a little bit of art. It's called Vesper's Host, and it looks pretty cool.
The art for it is really cool.
The art is very cool.
It looks like a.
What does it mean? You're a resident law
Shattered.
expert now, Fran.
What does it mean?
Don't even start with me. But I love that. I feel like there's been more branding on the episodes, and now like Vesper's Host. Like it looks like Dead Space font in the. Yeah, it looks to me like when I look at this, I'm like, dang, this almost looks like a Dead Space concept art. It's a shattered satellite or thruster. And anyway,
Or a Vex portal.
yeah,
It's
see,
probably
it
a
does
Vex
look like a Vex
portal, yeah.
portal, actually.
It's probably
I
next.
didn't want to give
I've
away
still got it.
spoilers, dude. See, I'm a lore guy. I'm not gonna spoil anything. But anyway, it looks dope from a concept art.
It looks
but,
great,
It's
yeah.
called
Yeah.
Vesper's Host again.
So this is coming out on Friday, October 11th, and it's going to be the first dungeon to have contest mode, and there's going to be a dungeon race for world's first. Now, they are basically doing what Fran has wanted his whole life. So let's get into that. So contest mode is going to be enabled for 48 hours, but normal mode will be available as soon as the first 3 teams clear the dungeon. So the way that they're doing it is instead of having like world's first dungeon clearer,
I've
they're
heard
having
that.
like the first 3 teams to clear it get some kind of reward, and then after they're done clearing it, you can just play on normal mode.
Can I get a hell yes for that one? And I hope that because like I'd already I think stopped myself from ranting the last time I heard about contest mode. I'm like, oh man, like everything's for like the elite of the elite, and like this is really nice to hear, especially as we need more people to be incentivized to play. And like, yeah, I anyway, I don't know if you want me to respond now, but the short of it would be like, man, I feel really incentivized to do contest mode from that. I can play. If it's tough, I can choose to opt out, because, these first 3 teams are probably not going to take like 40 hours to do it.
No.
So,
Yeah, I think
reckon
that's
it's
I think
gonna
that's a good
be
change.
pretty hard because they're doing contest mode? Like, what are we expecting the time to be?
the
Oof, for
benefit too
dungeon.
is like you can make it as hard as you want now. And if the community loves that, then go for it, right? Because again, when the first 3 get through or whatever, then you can enjoy it.
I would
but I
encourage them
do
to make
hope
it very difficult, because I think the harder they are and the longer those raid races go on, kind of the more excited the community gets about it, right? And now that there's a way to opt out of it, like we could just watch the pros suffer while we just kind of get our rewards and get a nice early bedtime.
my only casual note on that is like it is a problem when you get your team together and the top, let's say 3 teams are taking more than like 6 to 10 hours to get through, because it really creates like a lot of like, right? You're like, it's the weekend. You're like, wait, I guess they're done. Like they can't play anymore. They got duties.
I mean, I think the
And so
longest
I'm
it's
ju-
ever taken for a raid is 24 hours, though.
Well, yeah. But so it's already, and you're right. But you said, make it as hard as possible. And
Yeah.
I'm saying, wait, I'd prefer, maybe let's call it the 6 to 12 hour range. Let's call it within a day. And if you want to come back the next day but I don't know. I'd have to
I don't
think
think it'll
about
be
that part.
that.
But
I don't think it'll be that long because dungeons have to be soloable as well. So there's only so much mechanics you can do for 3 people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
technically, you should be able to do it by yourself eventually once you know everything. So unless it's like stupid hard combatants,
right. I was thinking, for the
big
dungeon,
health pools for bosses.
I don't think it'll be as crazy. But I was thinking about going forward if they are happy with this, and we're all happy that if it's even taking 24 hours for a team, well, we can come back to that in the future. But it is great news, and honestly, happy they listened to community and/or me on this one. So I'm super excited.
You do
Yeah, I
need to be
reckon-
at 1985 power, by the way, and then you're leveled for all of the encounters,
Should be easy. Plus,
which I think we probably already are.
oh yeah, and actually, it is a reminder. I don't believe Fire Team Power works in contest mode.
It
as I
doesn't,
recall.
no.
Yeah, so good reminder.
Okay, so you're gonna have to talk to, now this will give you a little bit of a hint of maybe what the dungeon is about, because you're picking up a quest from Spider in the Last City seasonal hub
Spider, eh?
called Rogue Network. is the quest name.
I don't know why. Look at me evil.
How do you know I'm looking at you? You can't see where I'm looking.
I'm looking back
Yeah.
at that picture. Now I'm not so
So-
sure if it's a Vex portal. No,
Like,
it's
I'm trying to
definitely a
remember,
Vex
spiders-
portal.
You can't go to Spider anymore, right?
He's in
No.
the last city.
Oh.
He's
but
in
can
the
you-
bar.
Oh yeah, that's right. From the wait, can you still go there though?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't even remember how to get there. It's like going to the farm.
from the
you know? I
hub.
don't. Yeah, you can still get there. You mean with like the fallen and hanging out and sleeping on their
Yeah.
cots?
Yeah. they're-
Really?
They're home. I'm pretty sure.
They're
Otherwise,
still
they're gonna have
living
to
in
put
poverty.
it back in the game. Yeah. Yeah. We didn't do too good by them.
Either way, that's good. I've always liked Spider, so maybe I can trade in some materials for some shards while I'm there.
The completion criteria is that you just have to. Everyone on the fire team just has to pick up the final chest, and then that's recorded as your placement. And then at least one member of the fire team must have completed and received loot for every encounter, and it must be the first time completing the activity for all members. So we're not going to have a case of like one absolute gaming team just gets first, second, and third place, and they get all of the rewards.
Yeah, this is new to contests.
That is new,
isn't
yeah.
it? Yeah,
It's because they're
that's good.
doing the like with raids. There's one team that wins, and then you're just getting the
Right.
exotic within that like period. But this is like you get rewards if you're one of the three. So
That's cool.
Yeah, I wonder what the received loot for every encounter is. Probably that people were skipping chests for time or something. Maybe. Like, why do we think that they?
bringing people in, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, maybe it's probably more that. But even then, they have this thing about it's got to be the first time. Oh, yeah, because it just says completing, and so that must be their way to ensure that you were there at least in some form the whole time. But anyway, I think it's good, especially when you get into like making this fair and challenging. But
this is
I hope
also
their
gonna
servers are not a
be-
problem.
Yeah, we'll see.
You know.
This is also going to be a part of Twitch Rivals. So you can sign up to be a part of Twitch Rivals. And if you do sign up, you will get Twitch drops enabled for an emblem. And then you will also have another thing where if someone subscribes to you, they get another emblem as well. If you're a part of the Twitch Rivals. That makes you want to do it, doesn't it? Mm-hmm.
Sorry, my brain was
"Hmm."
still thinking about that. At least one member
Maybe.
of fire team must have completed and received loot, right?
Mhm.
So they're just kind of stopping, passing a checkpoint off to like team B to like keep progressing kind of deal, then jump back. But it's a dungeon, so I imagine that like won't be a problem anyway. And then you can't just because it's first three teams, you can't have like team A that wins just like redo it really quick if they're like super chads and like take someone through, I guess.
Jump on their second accounts.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, must be the first time completing the activity.
Mhm.
I think they'll look at that to verify on top of that. So it just discourage people from trying to.
I feel like this is not going to really apply to dungeons very much, but maybe they're just introducing it to get people used to the concept before a raid.
But by
Maybe,
the
yeah.
way, if you're a classy first place team and winner, like you're classy. Why would you even bother trying to take these two spots away from other teams? You know what I mean?
Because
Let them
I've
have
got
it.
gold.
You know what's
I'm
classy,
trying to get
Fran?
silver and
Winning.
bronze. Fuck them.
Exactly. I was gonna say. I thought you were gonna be like, and that's why you're not a winner. You don't get it. You should be winning all three if you're a real winner. Anyway, this is exciting though. Honestly, massive news with this whole like normal mode being available after the top three are in. Oh my god, it's crazy how much I complained about that. I'm so happy.
There is also going to be a developer live stream for Revenant Act 1. That's on October 8th is when it launches, and October 1st is when you're going to be able to watch the developer live stream.
Wait.
So
So
10
this-
a.m. October 1st.
Yeah. So that's next.
And they're going to
time.
share
Reset.
a detailed look at everything coming in the first act of Revenant, along with an early chat detailing some of the upcoming changes for codename Frontiers. And there's going to be Twitch drops for an emblem. The emblem looks pretty cool.
It is cool.
That's a pretty cool emblem. I do
Some
like that one.
wild galaxy space feels. And then Watts, we got about 3,000 words on the PvP update.
We're gonna go through the important bake stuff and not the nitty-gritty sandbox stuff, or probably the lobby balance stuff, to be honest. Like, we're gonna do a very top-level look at this because it's already 7:10 p.m.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
And we
and
still
this
got to
will
talk
be
about.
like the rest of the show. So there are a lot of specifics in here. So if you do want the specifics, I really do think it's better to read it yourself anyway with the graphs, because it helps you visualize and figure out what the hell is going on. So they're bringing back Solitude, which is an old map that they took away. They're bringing that back. They're adding class icons. They're adding assisted by message when you get a kill. Tool of destruction tombstone icons. Don't know what that means. Mercy rule changes, lobby balance improvements. For competitive, they're doing point reward simplification and placement match improvements. Sandbox is getting a weapons meta overview, PvP weapons micro tuning. Trials of Osiris, they have the upcoming schedule, new weapons, and they are bringing in class-based trials labs.
Yeah.
So, beyond Revenant, so Heresy, which is the episode after Revenant, they're doing a Trials of Osiris rework, which is kind of crazy. They're doing Crucible specific ability uptime tuning, playlist reorganization, Iron Banner improvements, and skill and rank changes.
Isn't Trials always being reworked right now?
It's like
But it's gonna be a rework.
To be fair, it's
it
a
just got to
true
rework. Probably less than 2 years.
Trials
ago, right?
is always in rehab.
Yeah, pretty much, man.
You will be getting Solitude back, which we talked about. I'm glad, because like, stop taking maps away and then not giving new maps. This is crazy. And the updated UI is cool. Like, on the actual UI on the side, you can see the different people's classes, which is kind of nice.
I like that. I was gonna say,
It displays in place of Guardian rank, by the way. So instead of seeing someone's Guardian rank, you see the class, which is a lot better.
Yeah, that makes more sense, honestly.
It makes a lot more sense.
yeah. And if, just the note on the whole like Trials Labs thing for class-based stuff is cool. They're saying no more than one class per team. So every team must be comprised of a Titan, a Hunter, and a Warlock with no duplicates. So,
That's Trials Labs.
Oh,
We're getting to
I'll-
labs. We're not there
Oh,
yet.
I thought you were skipping all that. So
No, I'm
my
reading
bad.
the top
Oh, okay,
level
I'm
stuff
sorry.
of this. No, it's okay. They're adding assisted by callouts like of the text. So if you get a kill, it will say who you were assisted by. And then the tombstone icon, what it actually is it's an icon for your allies to show you their tool of destruction in case you missed it in the kill feed. So it's got like a little skull icon, and then in this picture, it's got a hand cannon below it. So you can be like, oh, I probably shouldn't peek if I have like half health because they died to a hand cannon.
Yeah, I remember when they told us they were going to be adding this update. So interesting to see. I like that. Yeah.
All of the rest, I am going to skip, and we are going to just touch on what Fran talked about, which is the labs, which I think is actually really interesting. They're adding labs where you can only have a Warlock, a Titan, or a Hunter on your team. You can't have 2 Titans and a Hunter, 3 Hunters. It's got to be a mixture.
Yep.
So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
When you said it at first, I thought you meant like all Titans, all Hunters, all Warlocks.
No, the opposite. The opposite. The opposite.
Shotgun
The
only.
opposite of that.
Shotgun only, all Titans. Yeah, no, the only thing that is going to bring up is if you are like a team of Trials players and you've been playing a long time and like you just got your classes, you don't play any others, it's going to be like, what do we do? But you know, I think as long as, I mean, I haven't read every last detail here, so it's like, I don't know if this is like supposed to be a secondary mode, and they normally can't afford to have multiple modes. And so, yeah, I don't know. It always brings up those questions of like, isn't the biggest problem with Trials like the population? And then now Destiny as a whole, the population, of course, is at a low. And so good they're experimenting, but like, I don't know if it gets to the heart of like Trials, you know, has always faced a population issue.
Is this like labs? Because it's going to be...
It is just labs.
It's labs, yes.
It's like, oh man, how are you going to have enough players to even do this in labs?
They can sometimes they force it where labs is the mode. So
Yeah,
they
I
might,
was gonna say
they might
like you
do
kind
that.
of need to like you
kinda
need
do
to
need
force
to.
it.
Yeah.
To
They
see
will,
what
I
happens.
bet, for the test, yeah. But I mean, you see what I'm getting at is like, let's say they're like, oh, it's like got really good stats. Everybody seemed to enjoy themselves. And then it's like, if you replace it though, and like you have a population issue, it's hard for me to imagine that this class-based thing would have more players in trials, even if it's more fun. You see what I'm getting at?
Well, I would
But I
imagine
don't
that
know.
people that do play trials and play a lot of trials probably only have one class. Would that be
Right.
like they would have everything built and probably stay on that? Like, are people rotating through their classes? Like, I wonder how many people have additional classes to
But-
run in PvP in trials.
Yeah.
I mean,
But-
casuals aren't going to have it.
Yeah, but maybe if it is, let's say it is that fun, then if it's got the matchmaking and all, then maybe then more people play, so you do start matching. But anyway,
This
for
seems
later.
like
And
a
also
good
I would-
idea in like theory, but a hard idea to implement in practice because of like,
Potentially, yeah.
the limitations of like how do we get a team together? Is matchmaking even possible for this? Like
It
that
will.
kinda
It's just
thing.
if you're a hunter, it's gonna take longer to match you. Like if you're queuing DPS in other
Yeah.
games.
But again, I think it's good they're experimenting. And now's a great time to just get those experiments out. They said they're going to run it twice during the season, so
Okay.
that's good.
I think
and
what we might want to do here is like get more into this when TV is on next week.
you read my
Okay.
mind, Watts. I literally was about to say he'll be
yeah.
back next week, right? So we should.
TV's gonna be here
Yep.
next week, and we can delve into like this part deeper. So if you're interested in hearing our thoughts on that and really going through that, tune in next week and we'll go through that and see how TV's feeling about it. So I think that would be more valuable.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we got to hear from the Crucible Strike team, and we're getting a map back, and they're like we've identified several issues with trials and why it's bad. So here's what we're doing. So, yeah, we'll see. It's good to hear either way. It's good to hear. Okay.
We're moving on.
Yes,
Watts, did you watch the Capcom event today?
I did. I woke up at
Tell me.
5:30 to watch
5:30.
it today. There wasn't
5:30.
really much today though.
Oh, okay.
What happened? Was it from the PlayStation
The release.
event
So,
or
I'm
Yes.
sorry.
So
The release date was known before today.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My bad. I thought it was
Um,
announced today.
a birthday, pretty much?
So we had the PlayStation State of Play.
That's right.
Where I was like, surely they're not gonna do too much for Monster Hunter. Maybe it'll just be like a little teaser. Because Tokyo Game Show was literally the day after.
Mhm.
And they're at Tokyo Game Show. They have Capcom events. They've got so much stuff going on there. But they showed this new trailer, which is their 4th trailer, and it showed the Scarlet Forest, more of the Scarlet Forest, which we hadn't seen before. We got to see the Apex monster of the Scarlet Forest, which looks incredible.
That
Looks like
fish one?
genuinely, yeah. The like big.
I don't like it.
The release date, though, I was just burying the release date. Just like,
No,
because that's the last thing. You
I know.
can't jump over the
I
release.
know.
Not that I don't like it. I think it's great, but it's scary.
It's genuinely scary. Yeah, I said the same thing. I was like, I don't think I've played Monster Hunter and been like unnerved and like it's kind of scary.
it's got a very
kinda scary.
mean aura.
When
It's
it
got
was
a very
splashing around, it
mean
looked like it was
aura.
sending waves at you, and you're running away from the waves.
does,
Do you think
yeah.
those waves are
Yeah.
going to knock you
It
down?
manipulates waves. Yeah. So we kind of saw a tiny preview of that with Namielle in Monster Hunter World. Because when she would like flap her little wings, it would send currents and it would knock you over. This is like that turned up to 1 billion. So the Scarlet Forest, each biome has like an inclemency weather period. For the Scarlet Forest, it's called the downpour. So lots of rain, lots more water, and this
wet.
freaking big ass motherfucker jumps out of the water and looks very scary. He's massive. It's a big monster.
And they can jump out when
Yeah.
you're battling a different monster, right? Like this is just
Yes.
a random event.
You're gonna be there fighting something, and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
they're gonna jump out of the water. It's gonna be scary.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that's probably, with the exception, because now that I actually have played Monster Hunter, with the exception of like Xeno, that looks like one of the bigger monsters, right?
It's a
Trying to
big
think
monster.
what would
It's
be
very
bigger
big
than
for like
that.
a regular monster that's
Yeah.
in the biome. It's big,
Mm.
huge.
I think
So
a
that
lot of
one's
monsters,
cool.
like obviously have great design, but I don't feel like they look as mean as that one or
That one looks
scary.
mean. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
it's
There's something
interesting.
about the
I
Wilds
was like,
monsters,
no, I
actually.
don't like that. Because most monsters I kill, and I'm like, oh, okay, I don't like. I feel a little bit bad. I'm like, oh, they're kind of
Mm.
cute. I killed them, and they're like, yeah, give me your armor. But this
A
one, I'm
lot of
like,
these
no,
monsters are
you can stay dead.
a little
Yeah,
wily. They're a little
Yeah.
they're a little wild. Like they really are. They're more on they're less on the cute kind of arcadey looking monsters. They're just
Yes,
like
yes.
mean, scary
Mean.
monsters.
It does feel a little bit different design wise, doesn't it? Like
does,
I
yeah.
agree with that arcadey kind of like from world to this. A little bit more
They're
horror
a bit
in
more
there.
bit gnarlier.
Bit gnarlier. Yeah,
They're
exactly.
gnarlier. So
Gnarly.
that was the apex that we got to see. Of course, we got to see more of the biome. It's beautiful when it's all blue and pretty, and we got to see them fishing. And we got to learn that you're going to be able to big game fish.
I wanted to
Which is
ask about that because
exciting.
I love fishing in games. Is this the first time fishing is in Monster Hunter?
So fishing is in
Like-
Monster Hunter, but they're reworking it pretty. We don't know exactly what they're reworking it to, but we do know that they're doing an overhaul of fishing, and we've never
I was
had
excited.
like big game fishing before.
Yeah.
Which we're
It
gonna
looks
have.
awesome.
I'm the
Oh,
opposite.
so-
I hate fishing in video games. Like I hate
Oh,
like
man.
waiting in a video game to catch fish. I'm like, I could do this outside. Like I could be bored
I'm gonna live
outside.
in the world, Briar. I'm spending 70 hours fishing. I will finish the campaign next month. Get off.
What do you get from fishing normally in world? Is it just ingredients or
So yeah, there's certain ingredients, things that you can get. Like you can get the thing that you use to sharpen instead of having to do the full sharpen thing. You can use your wet fish,
Oh
get
yeah.
sharp real fast. Wet fish.
that makes sense?
Yeah, sharpen with a wet fish, obviously.
Obviously. That's why sushi knives are so fat, so sharp.
Yeah. And then you can, you can put them in your room. You can put them in your aquarium. So people would spend hours and hours fishing to get the rare fish to put in their collection.
Have they said anything since it's more like an open world experience. Have they said anything about having like a room or apartment?
They haven't, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna get something because part of the like pre-order and deluxe and all those stuff, one of the things was background music that you get, and normally you use those background musics in your room. So that made me go, we gotta have a room somewhere. Maybe it'll be on the big ship or the desert ship, the skipper.
I know that we can
maybe
make a
or you reckon it'll
camp.
be like Dragon's Dogma where you like buy an apartment in one of the settlements?
We're like, excuse me.
I would
know
like
you're
to rent a
small
place.
village. I want to buy it. Yeah, maybe we might be able to. Maybe we can get a place in each of the base camps.
Each of the towns. That'd be kind of neat,
Maybe.
actually.
That'd be cool.
But then you gotta decorate each one of those. But you can do each one in like a different theme.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be cool.
Yep. This is where I keep my fish. This is where I keep my birds. This is where I keep my lizards.
You can
This is where
set
I
up
keep
a
my
camp
spiders.
while you're out on patrol, kind of, while you're out hunting. But like that can be destroyed at any time by a monster just kind of roaming.
Yeah, they're
through.
just,
So
like,
I don't know that you're
temporary,
gonna be
aren't
customizing that, but that'd be kind of fun if you
No.
could.
If you could put like some stuff on the wall, that'd be nice. Yeah.
Or maybe that's what your template is. Like maybe you that music and whatever is like your temporary camp. you
It
put down.
could play in there. That's true. You can go in there and it plays that. I can
Maybe
see
you
it.
can put like a little like MIDI forge setup. Get your favorite blacksmith to come camping with you. Have a nice romantic weekend out in the wilds. I don't know. Just
In
putting
my
that out there.
video, I googled, well, in YouTube, I looked for copyright-free sexy music, and I put that over slow motion jamma. Yep.
I'm in for
Hot.
hmm
Watts knows the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
They know what they're doing. So yeah, in that was the trailer that they showed on. We got to see the flagship monster of Monster Hunter Wilds. We got to see him. His name's Arkveld, also known as the White Wraith. He's
Or
got
Archie.
chains on his wings.
Yeah, very cool.
Chains on the wings is a cool look.
Yeah, and there's an
Very
image
metal.
of him
Very metal.
that shows him like with actual chains, and then you can see the difference between actual chains and then chains where his body is actually like grown over. So he's been chained up for a long time, and I'm saying
is
Arcfeld
that
is innocent.
Is that
He
the
did
law
nothing
of
wrong.
why it
Arcfeld
has
did nothing wrong.
changed?
Yeah. So it's like a ton of chains
Oh.
all over him, and then he's also got more than 2 chains that his body's grown over. But I guess when he broke free, he probably only was able to keep 2 of them.
Right.
Chains
That's
on his
kinda cool.
wings. Kind of
That's
crazy.
sick. You think he's gonna
Yeah,
attack you
that's
with
pretty
those? Like a whip chain?
Oh, he's in the trailer doing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's it's gonna be very cool. Very cool. And then I was like, what's going on? Because they showed the box art, and I was like, that's suspicious.
Yeah.
And then we saw the release date,
And a hella ton
which I
of
was
pre-order
not
bonuses.
expecting. Yes. So the release date is February 28th. I
Yeah.
was correct about February. Woo! So that's nice.
Cool.
We don't have
Day
to write an
after
It's
angry
not
letter.
that far
regretting
away.
them. It's not that
not
far.
that
It'll
I already
it'll
sent
go
it
fast.
lots. I'm sorry.
There was a pre-order bonus just for everyone. You get some layered armor and you get a charm or talisman. And then if you're on PlayStation, the pre-order bonus comes with the digital art book,
Mm.
which I do want.
Which I also want.
Then
I
there's
do
like
want that.
there's like super duper editions with like more stuff in them.
I can tell you the prices if you would like. So you've
I want
got
a trailer
the...
that's Briar saying that. Like, super duper editions stuff.
Yeah, there's some
Get-
junk here.
All
You'll
that
take it off
crap
as
over
soon as you
there.
earn something cool in game.
Oh no, there's some that I will be using for a very long time.
But you can buy a
So-
guitar, motherfuckers.
We'll get to the crossover. There's like 8 of them to talk about. So the price for the regular version is $70. There's then the deluxe edition, which is $89.99, and the deluxe edition, premium deluxe, is $109.99.
Premium deluxe. I'm getting a t-shirt with that. Premium deluxe.
Premium deluxe.
Premium no deluxe.
You get a ton of stuff. So you get layered armor for yourself and for your palico. You get decorations for your sacred, which was the first time that we had confirmed that you can actually customize your sacred, which was very exciting. Layered armor, hair. You get 2 more cosmetic packs that will be coming out later in the year. Stickers. That's how Fran, you will know this when you do eventually play Monster Hunter. But
And
stickers
we-
is how you communicate with your team. So it will be like thumbs up or like, I'm sad, I'm so sorry, I died and ruined everything.
And the sticker says, "Yeah, you did. We hate you."
Yeah, I had a pre-order question for this February 28th release date. One, are they likely to do any kind of early unlock nonsense?
I fucking
As I
hope
put it?
not.
Are they?
It's
'Cause
not
doesn't
in
say that.
any of the versions. No.
Okay. So let's
Cool.
hope they don't, because that stuff sucks.
Yeah.
Secondly, did you play on console, Watts? I was just curious from a performance perspective, if you expect like
Everyone has only played on PlayStation 5s
because it hasn't
for Wilds.
Oh no, I meant sorry, I should have said for Monster Hunter World.
I play on
World?
PC.
You play on PC, so I don't know if anybody on the cast knows, but I was like, does it like run at 30? And like, my guess is it.
I
World
can take
ran
you
at
through the
30 on
PCs.
PS4.
Oh, if you want to know about World is over. World is sick, unlimited.
But I mean, on consoles, in other words, should you try
Play
to
on
get
PC
the
if
PC
you're gonna play
version?
World.
Here's my recommendation for
For
gamers
WoW.
in general. If you want to have 60 FPS for sure in every game that comes out, you're going to have to be a PC gamer. You're just going to have to.
PS5 Pro.
And then you're gonna
Well, we don't
bitch
know.
because half
Yeah,
the
I know.
games that come out are like, "Oh, we have 80 frames per second with like major graphical hitches."
Right.
If you got a
Let's see if I
4090.
can find the.
There's more exciting things to talk about.
Yeah.
There's so much more.
All right.
We
Continue.
also got to see a new monster called Chematrice, which is a fire chicken or fire rooster, pretty much.
Mm.
Oh yeah, if I
Fire
can, yeah.
rooster.
I enjoy
Yep.
both fire and chicken, especially combined.
Well, he's gonna be barbecuing you, bro. I don't know.
We'll see about
You'll
that.
barbecue him eventually, but he's gonna barbecue you a little bit.
I'll be wearing his hide as armor.
The armor, if you are interested in seeing the armor and you didn't know, it's part of the bow So if you go on the website and look at Bo, you can see the male and female armor for that. And you can see it in the like weapon preview for Bo. That's his armor. And then today we got another thing that happened. It was at 7 a.m. Pacific, hence why I got up at 5:30.
Oh my god.
Because I had to be live at 7, before 7. Can't just roll up at 7 and be like, all right, guys, I'm late. And this was the Capcom stage at Tokyo Game Show. And we got to see, it was kind of a mixture of everything, because there was a lot of stuff that we had seen before, but they kind of weaved in extra footage of. So for example, we got to see like a quest completion animation with the Palico and with Sacred, where you're like giving them kisses and cuddles. Very cute. Got to see some more endemic life, which was cool. We got to see how the biomes connect, because you can go from the desert to the Scarlet Forest by just taking a path from like one place to the other. Seamless. Right. Oh,
seamless.
I'm back. Seamless. Yes, seamless. And
was
then
it like a little transition scene? You know how you'd get in like a Tomb Raider where you slide through a rock and it's really loading, or is it just kind of like a path?
From what they showed, it's just a path that it looks like there's a river to like your left, and you're just going down, and then you end up in the Scarlet Forest.
Right. Okay.
So that's what we know so far. We also got to see the animation that Gemma does when she makes you a new weapon.
I got that one.
That's
recorded.
where the bow chicka bow
screensaver.
wows come in.
Oh, hold on. I need to have a look at this.
You need to.
That's my new home screen on my phone.
She's sweaty and
is it,
like,
is it in your video, Wads?
It's in my video. It's also, if you just go to the Monster Hunter Twitter, they tweeted it out.
Yeah,
they did. They know what's
they
up.
tweeted it out. We got to see that, which was great. Everyone's like, okay, I will craft every weapon in the game. You don't have to twist my arm.
I will never skip.
Never skipping the animation ever. Nope. We also, you know how the community managers, when we were talking to them, they were talking to us about cheese, and like, you're gonna be excited about the cheese. We got to see the cheese. So we got this. We got to see this like thing where you're sitting there with Gemma and Alma, and you're there with your Palico and the local people, and you've got basically fondue cheese, and you're just pouring it on this like big
all
piece
over
of
Emma.
bread. Gemma, at least get her name right, Briar. Jesus. So I will be purchasing cheese. Maybe cooking in the wild with some cheese. I don't know, maybe.
Nice.
Do you need cheese?
Nothing like a little
hit me up.
fondue pot while you're camping.
It is kind of like, it's like fondue. Yeah, we'll see what it ends up being like if you can cook it in the wild. Myelin, are you watching it?
I'm just caught up in Gemma Twitter.
Like, I think he might be
research.
looking
It's
at
called
the video,
research.
guys. You can tell Mylin's brain's gone. It's just.
Where's it?
We also saw the Transformers crossover.
There's more, Briar.
Yeah.
There's
like,
something huge. No, like huge. We haven't got there yet. Stop trying to get to all the crossovers.
Well, she just talked about cheese for 10 minutes, and now Briar's in trouble. We
have our first confirmation outside of Rathalos of a returning monster called Yankutku. It is a bird wyvern. And if you played World, I don't know if you remember, Briar, if you did the Guiding Lands, it's closely related to Yangaruka. Big ass head bird, big jaw, looks kind of goofy.
I don't think I've seen that yet, have I?
No. You got a ways to go first, Molin.
Okay,
Ways. So yeah, this is this monster hasn't been in like any recent Monster Hunters, so they're getting a pretty big glow up from when they were last in there. And could potentially be a herd monster like Doshaguma is. We'll see. Okay. But that was like the biggest thing from, well, outside of all of the cutscene animations we got to see. That was like one of the biggest things because they officially confirmed another monster.
They have not mentioned any like demo or beta yet, have they?
No, so they
Hmm.
are having tomorrow at 9 p.m. Pacific. They're doing a gameplay walkthrough of the Scarlet Forest.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're gonna do anything, it could potentially be after that a
Mm.
date. But based on when it's coming out, I would think that the demo is gonna be in January. So it
So
might
maybe
be a
Game
Game
Awards?
Awards thing.
Mm.
Yeah, it
Okay.
could be.
That would be
I
pretty
would
hype
like
at
a
the
date.
Game Awards,
A
though.
date would be cool. It would be, especially if they say you can play it now. I will
Oh,
leave.
yeah.
We're gonna be
You think it-
streaming together. We're all leaving, I think,
Well,
probably.
you got to download it.
Yeah. You think they'll definitely do a demo beta?
I hope
type
so.
They've
situation?
always done a demo for Monster Hunter, so I
Yeah,
think it would be pretty weird for their most expensive game Capcom's ever made and the
Mhm.
biggest game that Capcom's ever made to be like, we're not gonna do a demo for
I also
this
feel
one.
like
Yeah.
the demo
No, I
for
think they know.
World sold that game like crazy.
It did, yeah.
Like it
Yep.
really, it pulled a lot of people in.
Yeah, it's a good point. Capcom normally does. I think for all the Resident Evils, they do it and so on. So yeah, it checks
They
out.
do like their
Resident
demo.
Evil
And
sounds like
I think
kinda
there's
cool.
less barriers for Wilds than there is for World for getting new people in. So I think it would go crazy if they did a demo.
Yeah, we actually people who had played before, we weren't able to capture the story part of that capture session, but people in Japan have now been able to capture that. So we actually got to physically see with our eyes how Alma kind of gives you questions to figure out your weapon. So she asks you
Oh,
a
cool.
series of questions and that will
Can
help
Gemma
guide
describe
you
it to me
into a
instead?
direction. No. She
Because
could make your
if Gemma
weapon.
described to you, end up with the wrong weapon, buddy.
True. Yeah, that looks great.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes.
Yep.
yes.
Yep. So that was there's a lot of like little things, but that was kind of the main stuff. And then Briar, yeah, there was some crazy crossovers.
Yeah, cool ones, man. There's a Transformer
Really
coming
cool.
out in it's a Rathalos, is that right? Rathalos?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a real ass Transformer. Like well, you'll probably not be able to buy it. It'll probably get sold out like immediately and then like go on eBay. It'll probably be $1,000. I don't even know if it's
Oh
coming
god,
to
I tried to
US.
get the 30th anniversary PlayStation, by the way.
Yeah. That thing's going for
All
$21,000.
the bots were able to get to buy it before people even got out of the queue.
Yeah. I mean,
So.
PlayStation hasn't learned their lesson. We know that, like Sony
Yep.
hasn't learned their lesson about this. It's
Nope.
sad, but what are
Anyway.
you gonna do?
Yeah,
just
what can you do?
plastic.
Nothing. Freaking nothing.
It's not like it's a Transformer,
It's not a Rathalos transform.
right?
Do you know, Briar? I don't know if you saw this. Did you see the Ducati collab?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have Monster Hunter with Ducati, the
Yeah.
bike.
the frick?
Yeah.
Yeah. Monster
missed that.
Hunter with a
Oh,
guitar.
God.
Yeah. Fender guitar.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
I
I was
found
like,
it
what
real-
word are you
That
saying?
guitar.
Like you have to.
Ducati.
I
I
want
think
it
you
so
have to
bad.
go
Wait,
to like the
wait.
Fender store in Japan to get that guitar, though, right? Like,
I'm there.
So they are
down.
opening it to.
Just need the
So
money.
there's two
now.
versions. One version has the Rathalos like scratches on it, and that's like
Yeah.
a special edition that you can get in Japan. But then there's another one that they're opening up to worldwide audiences for
okay.
the guitar.
Sick. When
There's
I
also a
saw that guitar, I was
Digimon
like, oh my god, I want that
Monster
guitar so
Hunter
bad.
collab. It looks great. It looks
Yeah.
really good.
The
There's
Transformer
also a
is cool, too.
Puma collab. If you want some clothes, Puma collab as well.
Man,
How do they do so many collaborations? Crazy.
Japan.
this is awesome.
They collab
guitar,
with
though.
everything. So I'm lucky. I don't live there. I'd have no money ever. I'd buy
20.
everything.
But you would look
23
I'm
Sick
looking
as
at
hell,
the
Watts.
Transformer now. That
I
is
would. That'd be pretty
crazy.
cool.
rolling around with your fucking Monster Hunter guitar and
On my Monster Hunter bike with my Monster Hunter hat and my bag and
who is
my
that
full
badass?
Monster Hunter tracksuit.
your guitar slung across your back as you ride down the street on your Ducati.
You would look very cool.
Very badass.
Yeah, you look very cool.
Oh my god.
The collabs are insane.
Yeah.
Is it more than a single Rathalos? I'm looking at some of the images. Is it just Rathalos Prime or is there other ones?
Oh, that's right. They named it Rathalos Prime, which I appreciated it.
They
That's fucking
They
cool.
did.
I forgot that part.
Yes, Rathalos Prime. Why be a vehicle that turns into a transformer when you can be a dragon that
Yeah,
turns
right.
into a transformer?
Yeah, that's obviously cooler.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
We also got some other fucking awesome news. Ghosts of Tsushima.
Yeah. Some small
Yeah.
news.
I could not believe this. I was not ready for Ghost of Tsushima 2 at all, which is called Ghosts of Yōtei. It's not called Ghost of
Nah,
Tsushima.
sorry.
Ghosts
Ghosts of
Yōtei.
Tsushima is its name.
I do like that.
Yeah,
we got they just threw this, and I was like, this sounds like Ghost of Tsushima, but I didn't want to be like this Ghost of Tsushima. So this has Erika Ishii, which Destiny players may know because that's your Anna Bray, ladies and gentlemen. That's your Anna Bray. She is the protagonist of Ghosts of Yōtei.
Sick.
Briar is practicing his Monster Hunter
I don't
moves.
know what
He's
he's doing
preparing
right
for
now.
battle.
Sorry, my microphone
Briar's-
stand just fell apart. And I'm like,
Briar's
screwing
like
it back
shred.
together.
You ever seen like
No, he's
I don't know if it's like Van Halen or like doing some wild like guitar prep.
He's
It's something
practicing
that's-
his moves. He's getting ready.
I'm gonna
He's
have to
ready for
rock it
that
on my
ARG
Ducati with
Monster Hunter experience.
But yeah, huge. Ghosts of Yōtei 2025. We
Yōtei.
didn't get a month,
Yeah.
but most folks are
2025
speculating
was
Yeah.
crazy.
end of the year. Ghost of Tsushima, I believe, came out in the summer
It did,
originally,
yeah.
but I would be, I don't know, maybe, but I don't know why they would want to release in the summer. It's probably their like big game for next year, so
You think so?
And this is
I assume so. Yeah.
this is about 300 years after
Mhm.
Ghost of Tsushima happened, and it's also set in the same kind of time period as Shogun. So if you've watched Shogun,
I
the
didn't
TV
realize
show,
that. The
Oh, sick.
1600s.
yep, and it's also taking place in like Hokkaido, which is like
Mhm.
north Japan, the north. And they also said that it's kind of far away from the strict samurai grips of the rest of Japan. So it's maybe it seems to be going a little bit more of like Wild West Japan vibes
Yes.
from the trailer.
And that's what I took away from the trailer. I mean, the game
Yeah.
already, was inspired by, that era of samurai cinema and had the Kurosawa mode, the black and white stuff. And
Yeah.
like, but when I watched this 3-minute trailer, I was like, oh my God, it has so much with the soundtrack, with a 3-minute trailer, by the way, with a gameplay reveal. Like, this is how it's done, folks. When you see me complaining, as I often love to do, I would have taken a CG trailer, but I would have whined and complained, like, why are we not celebrating the games and the gameplay? But anyway, nailed it. Looks incredible. And I could not be more excited. The art and everything, and like, the engine already looked good. I just can't imagine, now that it's going to be focused on PlayStation 5 and above.
Yeah.
It's going to look amazing.
Do you
So
guys
excited.
think they'll do another? I can't remember what that nightmare mode was
Legends?
called. at the end.
Legends?
Legend mode.
I
and a
hope they
raid.
do.
I
And
really
I
hope they do too.
like keep updating it. Like not a live service way, but kind of like how
Yeah.
Monster Hunter does it, where it's like we have a plan of like content we want to add to this mode with new classes and like a new map. Because that was really fun.
That was amazing. To me, that was my favorite part of that game.
Yeah, I don't know if PlayStation's ever released player count or sort of success numbers, but we do remember that they updated it. Now, whether
They
or not
did,
that was
yeah.
to plan, I don't know, but they had re-released it. So it seemed like, something they wanted to support. And I mean, live service, as we know, is a big part of it. So optimistically, I would want to believe that there's still something there, because it keeps people playing. And even if it's a small amount, I believe this game sold over like 10 million copies or something. I'll have to fact check that, but meaning I
Yeah.
feel like it's big
Cool.
enough that you would use this even as like another post-release, campaign kind of marketing effort, and then that's going to, of course, lead you to it's going to have an expansion, right? Because we remember Iki Island.
Yeah,
Ghost of
which
Tsushima,
was
and, like,
also really good.
I'm very confident that this is probably a very big thing for them, and people are already talking about like how Assassin's Creed Shadows or Shadow got delayed, and they're like, oh man, same year, even though they're probably many months apart. But that's how good this game is looking.
Also,
that people are
seriously
feeling-
different vibes, right?
Yeah, and honestly, the
Definitely
gameplay and
different
like
vibes.
their
Yeah.
execution is different. But meaning, I think it's funny that the game looks so good and is so well received already that people are already like, sorry, Assassin's Creed, one of the biggest games in all of gaming history. So
They also moved to very close to Monster Hunter Wilds, so now I'm like, it is before. I think it's 2 weeks
For
before, but
Assassins.
those games are massive.
yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I could maybe dabble, but then like the week before Wilds
No.
comes out, I want to be playing Monster Hunter.
No, yeah. It's
I want to be
funny
getting, I
how
want to be getting hyped.
so many companies trying to get their stuff out by the end of their fiscal years is what happens, and that's like the last
Yeah.
moment.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, it still ends up stacking all these huge games, and then it's like that's how you get the Elden Ring effect, where everybody's like, "Dang, we had a good game, but Elden Ring released." It's like, well, that's pretty much likely to happen every couple of years at this point.
Yeah.
So, anyway, nice problem to have for
I
gamers.
also with the Ghosts of Yōtei, I really like what they're doing with exploring different ghosts because I can totally see this is 300 years after Jin Sakai. I could totally see us coming across the ghost, the legend of Jin, like we had those kind of legend
Oh,
mythological
right.
things
Yeah.
before. Yeah, where you get his
Okay.
weapon and his armor, and
I
that
th-
would be really cool.
I
That
think
would
you're
be
100%
cool.
right. I think they'll still tie it back, and there will be like side quest stuff, and I think it's awesome that it's not, not just like a straight up like picking up where it left off kind of situation.
Yeah.
And Japan, like, because if you think about it, like exploring different places in Japan and all that, it's exciting to just take
Yeah.
it somewhere new. And like Ghost Tsushima didn't need to be a sequel to a franchise to be amazing, right? And so for anybody even thinking about that, it's like, how good was that game? You didn't need a
It was
setup.
incredible.
Let them do it again. I think it's awesome. So
And they portrayed it so well that they became ambassadors of Tsushima. So from the people who live there. So I have all the faith in this team to make something incredible. And I do think it's a very cool idea to have, like you said, Fran, exploring different parts of Japan and having the ghosts of that area in Japan. I think that's really cool. It also opens them
Super
up to go
exciting.
all over the historical stuff. They could go all the way in the back. They could go all the way in the front. Like
yeah.
they could go all over.
Honestly, I'm just so happy, for Sucker Punch, who's been around a long time, and they've had hits with like Infamous and stuff. But this one just seems like a love letter across the board from them, and like it
Yeah.
was successful, and like it's not a game driven by a live service and battle passes. Not that that's all bad, but I'm just so happy to see it. I real fast on the Sony State of Play, I was very happy with it because it was bookended with two things that made me very happy about gaming. One was just an update to Astrobot, an add-on. It's going to be free. It looks speed run, more of that to love. It's just a joyful game that I think will take Game of the Year to a number of places. And then coming out with a banger here, 2025 Ghost Tsushima. And like, to me, if I look at that and say, this is gaming on PlayStation, at least in the future, I'm like, hey, it's looking pretty good.
And you got Stellar Blade bot coming to Astrobot.
Oh, Stellar Blade was it there? Yeah.
You can save
Helldivers.
Eve. Oh, and there's also the collab with Nier Automata. Because Yoko Taro, they actually put out a tweet from the official account. Because people were like, why are you collabing with everyone? It's like, we will collab with anyone who gives us money.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
that's fair. Just
Yeah.
laying it on the table. I like it.
Yeah.
I respect
And
that.
he also he loves Stellar Blade, so this was like bound to happen because they put 2B in everything. She's in everything. Yeah.
Did you guys see the trailer for the remake of damn it, I forgot the name. Frank West, the zombie game, PlayStation.
Dead Rising.
Dead Rising.
It's out right now.
Deluxe
Are you playing it?
Remaster.
No, I'm not playing it. Yeah,
Okay.
DRDR.
that looked pretty good.
That's what
And then they also showed a trailer for the remaster of Horizon Zero Dawn, which I couldn't believe because that game just came out.
It came out what in 2017, I think.
Right, yeah, because it was around Zelda. You're right. But no, I mean, it's been a lot of, you say that, but that's like, by the time it comes out, it's gonna be like what, 8 years or something. So
It's coming out in October.
okay, well, 7 years. 7 years.
I mean,
okay?
I'm playing Monster Hunter
Yeah.
World that came out in 2018, and it looks great. And Horizon is such a beautiful game that I think like just playing it on the PS5 with a higher frame rate is like pretty fine. I don't think.
No, I
like,
think it's huge.
there is
Like,
a
that game is
PC version
beautiful.
of that game, right? So probably pretty
Yes.
easy to like kind of.
You nailed it. That's who's been porting all their stuff. and working really close with. So no, it's smart. It's funny that we would sit here and if I told you Bloodborne was getting remastered, we would all like
Yo,
fly out
that's
of
what
our
I'm
seats and-
saying. Where's fucking Bloodborne?
Okay,
Fran.
but you know, I'm with
Fran.
you. I'm with you
Come
on
on.
that. I'm just
Fran.
saying.
This is
Wow.
a game from so long ago that barely ran at 30 FPS. Not a game from 2017.
Hey man, you can remaster a game from like 4 years ago and I'll be happy because if it looks better, it looks better and runs better, and that's a good
No,
thing.
I don't agree with that.
Why? What's the downside of that? I think
Because
it's
it's
great.
already it's still is great. It still looks good. It still performs good. You can play it on PC where it's even better. Like and you can play it on PS5 where it's even better than your
I don't even
experience
care about that.
initially with Horizon.
I'm just mad at the order of operations here. Like,
Well,
let's
right, but
get
that's where
Bloodborne at the front of the
I
fucking
know,
line.
but that's what I'm saying. Like it's not like it's taking away from Bloodborne and stuff. Like it's not why so. But I feel you. Meaning, I assume Watts. That's it. You feel like it's not a good use of resources. Like they should
I just don't
remaster
know
something else.
I just don't know why we're doing it when it's not been that long.
I
and
think
it
it's because
is
there's a PC version.
It's-
There's an
beautiful
easy,
yeah, it's-
game. that
easy
you don't
move.
need to do it.
No, Briar, you nailed it. It's already basically done. You know, the engine's really good and they know it, and it's an easy remaster for a really highly acclaimed game that also is getting the Lego, addition too. So I think they want to like kind of be complete with the most current stuff right now.
And it was a better
That's
game
what
than
PlayStation
Horizon
does. I
too.
mean,
Well, I
Yeah.
can't wait for you to be excited about The Last of Us 2 Part 2, Part 5, Remastered Part 4.
the PlayStation Pro upgrade, I'll be excited.
Hey, did
Again,
you,
like, if
you hear they
it
announced
looks better, it looks
a
better.
remaster of Astrobot? It's coming out in October.
You know what
Oh,
actually
that's
is a
That's
good
it, I'm
a
kidding.
good remaster? Soul Reaver.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
Speaking of
mean.
remasters,
Now that is what you remaster.
dude.
Okay.
Yes.
They're doing Soul
We'll
Reaver
take it,
1
we'll
and
take
2. And
1 and 2, yeah.
honestly, I don't know that I'll play through those games. I recently tried to play Soul Reaver on my Dreamcast probably 2 or 3 years ago. I'm like,
oh my god,
it's tough. It's tough to go back to this kind of
that's like
control
23
scheme.
years old or something.
Yeah. But if me buying this makes them think maybe Soul Reaver 3 is a good idea, I'm willing to take that hit. I'm willing to buy this game
Mhm.
and like hope that they make Soul Reaver 3.
Yeah, I think maybe that's a little taste of that sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, I think we all would have loved a full remake because it's so old, but the remaster
Yeah,
did look good, and they have changed
Yeah.
like the controls and all of that as well. They haven't just like made it look slightly better. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, there wasn't even like camera controls in that game. For like a 3D game.
it's a long time ago.
long time ago.
It was a very
Hater.
long time ago.
And there was
Hater.
like puzzles that you had to like move a block and then like jump up onto the block and get above you, but you couldn't control the camera enough to like look up. So
Mm.
you had to just kind
Yeah.
of like walk around till you just like hit just the right angle.
Yep.
But it was an
Yep.
awesome game, and the story
is
was
an-
so
it's an
fucking
incredible
cool.
game. It's an incredible game.
All the Legacy of Kain games were pretty good, as far as I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
good
that-
games.
That was exciting. Yeah, there was a number of things in the state of play. I mean, I don't think we're going to be going through all of them, but
There was
I
a
thought it
game
was
called
decent.
Hell Is Us that looked
Yeah.
interesting. I don't know what's going on
Yeah.
there, but it's apparently it's an open world game with no map, no compass, no nothing. It's like they really want you to explore and follow your gut on where to go.
Yeah, I watched that.
Dark Soulsy
and-
looking, right?
It doesn't look soulsy to me
Okay.
at all. Looks
Oh,
just
that's
like a
right. It's
action
kind of
RPG.
like I at first thought it was like Division-y, but then it had a sword, and then it was like
Is it kind of a
bit more
lightsaber looking sword?
horror. What's that?
Was it kind of a lightsaber looking sword?
Yes.
Okay.
It
Well,
glowed,
yeah, I think
yeah.
it was pretty shiny.
The
Yeah,
glowy sword, yeah.
He's got a
It's
Death
kinda- it's
Stranding
kinda like-
coat on too.
yeah, it's
to
like
confuse things
almost
further.
fantasy mixed with like post-apocalyptic as well. It's like a
Yeah.
blend of different stuff. Like there's this whole castle in the sky kind of deal, this big sort of ominous medieval tower.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, it
I was
looks
gonna say, I
interesting.
mean, it looks
It's interesting, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I
a
think
third-person
it looks
action game
interesting.
of some kind. That's what we know, I guess. But
It's a open world action adventure, third person, like you said, and it combines intense melee combat with the thrill of exploration. So they do say that it's a semi-open world, so it's not like completely open. And I think that probably makes sense with the fact that there's no map, no compass, no quest markers, and you're just discovering the world yourself.
That's
So-
always tough when they do that. Like it's either a hit or a miss when you have no map.
it's gotta be
Like,
really good.
your environmental design's got to be so on point.
Yeah, it's gotta be
Otherwise,
very, very
it's
good.
tough. It's a slog with those kind of games.
Yeah.
Yep.
Along the lines of the dark tone there, it's worth mentioning the Lake House expansion was announced for Alan Wake 2. So that was
Yep.
exciting
That's
also.
true. It had a jump scare in there.
That's because Alan Wake will. But that's October. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right around the corner. Literally. So
it's,
26.
I mean, it's the year anniversary, basically. Yeah, it was mid-October I
boy.
believe, when that came out. Mhm.
I still haven't played that. It's like on my pile of shame still. I really want to play it.
But you should wait for the remaster, I think, is probably.
Yeah, good idea. That'll probably be out next year, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. Probably. The definitive remastered
I'll
4K.
play it on
Yeah,
my
I'll wait
PlayStation
for the
5
remaster.
Pro Plus.
That game looks so good. All right. Oh my god. What else?
Should we do some
I
Twitter
don't know
questions?
what else was in there. Yeah, I think we're probably ready for that. I think so.
That's the wrong page. All right. Tiago says,
TX, like-
what about the PS5 limited edition? Oh, wait. No more for us mortals. Scalpers asking 21K. Sony should
Yeah.
have had prevention system against scalpers, like email verification first, and then email you the link as PlayStation account. The older the account, it's better for you. Yeah, that sounds like a reasonable idea, Tiago.
Literally
but
anything.
they just refuse to do this, and
So
I don't understand why they don't know it doesn't hurt the brand, right? It obviously hurts the brand. Who do you want to have these but your biggest
There's only
PlayStation fans?
12,000 of them.
I know.
yeah, it's funny. Yeah, like the PlayStation Direct was like kind of trying to address some of this. I don't know that making it like, in other words, if you only give the 12,000 oldest subscriber, or you know what I'm saying, like then like what if you've been just started gaming in the last 2 years? You're screwed, you know. But I agree.
You screwed
It would be
anyway.
nice-
You might as well give it to fans.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
I
mean,
hate scalpers. Just for
also,
the record, yeah.
somebody who's been playing for 2
Mm.
years isn't going to have a whole lot of nostalgia for a PlayStation 1 themed PlayStation 5.
Okay, I see where you actually. I forgot that.
I
Forgot
want
to
the
connect the
gray
dots on that
You
one.
didn't even. You
That's
weren't
a
even
very good
born.
point.
But
Well,
want the
hey, I
gray
have one of the oldest accounts, so I'm down with this. I'm FM. I must have signed up day one.
Yeah, we
it
we
sucks.
tried to get one.
$1,000.
So because I was already awake at 5:30, so I was like, I'm ready. It launched at 7 a.m. So I was around. I was like, we'll do it. So the way that it went is that they first put you into a queue before it launched, and then it actually started the queue. So by the time my queue started, it said I had about an hour in the queue, and I was like, well, there's no way. So all of the people that used bots were able to get past the queue before they even opened the queue. So this thing sold out like immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would also like them to, if all, let's say, first of all, I was like, have they talked about if this is going to be available in stores at all? I can't remember. But secondly, are all 12,000, 300 of these gone now, or are they going to do a couple waves? And like, why don't they do more waves? Period. To I don't know what it means for them, but I'm like, yeah, why is it all at one time in the world? And then yeah, all the scalpers, who knows how they may be getting a bunch of them for all we know, but to sort of throttle, like meaning it doesn't come out until late November. Like, why not just release like, I say this, it could be disastrous, but like 500 a day, and then like at various times and mix it up and make it an ongoing thing.
Or put them in stores.
I don't know.
Bring them to stores.
And that too, yeah. I was very nostalgic for it. I was like, yo, like, can I just line up at Best Buy in my local city,
Well, that's how
those
I
were the
ended
good
up
old days.
getting the PS5 initially, when you literally couldn't get any, is I went to GameStop before they opened it up for online purchase. And I was able to get one.
Yeah. All these companies need to like figure out some system to like get these things to the people who are going to use them instead of like just resellers, because that just hurts their brand. It hurts their fans. It's just, you're just feeding these resellers.
Yep. But yeah.
But the good
TLDR
news
sucks.
is we did get a we got a DualSense Edge and we got a regular controller that is
that's
the
good.
30th edition. So
Nice.
we have something.
Yeah, it's a nice collectible or something to use. And then obviously the PlayStation 5 Pro came out as well. So if you're trying to get that,
Well,
which I was
the
trying to get.
Ghost of Tsushima announcement made me go, maybe I do want a Pro.
Well, that was part of why I was also, I didn't know with Monster Hunter, but I guess it did have a performance mode. But either way, let's hope they optimize for Pro and things like that for console players. And if you did decide to pick it up, there's games like that coming down the pike that could be exciting.
I
Oh,
heard.
look at this. I'm looking up the Australian, what they do for the
Hmm.
Aussie, and they've actually
Yeah.
did what you said. If I get one from EB Games, I got to be a level 5 EB World member.
But that's
You
from
get, like-
EB. Interesting.
Yeah, you got to have a card and spent money with them over many years probably to...
Yeah,
What a
meaning I've shopped at GameStop in the past, but I wouldn't have any kind
Yeah,
of
I don't have
active
any credit
program,
at
but-
GameStop.
Yeah, but that is interesting that they're doing something to sort of make it more loyal customers. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You know, we might get some answers about Wilds a little bit with the Pro because I think they are having people play Wilds on a Pro at some point during Tokyo Game
Yeah.
Show.
Mm.
It makes me wonder if it will be tomorrow when they're doing the playthrough because that would be pretty amazing.
Yeah, hopefully we hear something on it.
I'll probably be getting
Hope
a
so.
Pro, and I probably will end up buying Monster Hunter Wilds on the PlayStation.
Yeah, like remember if like Spider-Man 2, Final Fantasy Rebirth still, I don't know if that's like, we don't know when that's coming out for PC. Games like that, I mean, that's what you're dealing with. If
Yeah.
you're an enthusiast, that would be the reason to spend, the extra money.
You know, like Ghost of Tsushima, that's a PlayStation exclusive. So.
That Grand Theft Auto 6 effectively, I
yep.
mean, it's coming to Xbox, but it's not coming to PC at launch. And so
Sam
We'll
says,
see.
if you had to pick, would you rather see Destiny get more sci-fi with weapons and enemies, or more fantasy with weapons and enemies? And
fantasy.
do you think?
Fantasy.
I agree, fantasy. And
Check
do you
your
think
fantasy.
adding a bit more cosmic horror would be a good idea? Yes.
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 Definitely.
Fantasy. Yes.
Yes to the
Or-
above.
Just
Like-
head more toward Warhammer. Just like move Destiny, push it forward to Warhammer. I've
anytime
still been
Destiny does
playing
creepy
Warhammer
stuff.
and enjoying the shit out of it. I'm telling you, that
good.
game fucking rocks.
Yeah.
Like
It's
Space
a great
Marine
game.
2 is a great game.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
I'd
that
love to
co-op
see,
stuff is amazing.
See some modes like that. I think we had talked about that, but like operations is a good mode, wave base within levels like that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really is. It's like I do find that I prefer the Tyranid levels
Same.
more than the Thousand Suns levels. But I think that's just because I like fighting the Tyranids more. Like it's just somehow like having a million Tyranids coming at you is just somehow viscerally cooler than
Yeah.
armored
I get that.
wizards.
It is cool, and also like the getting shot by stuff if you don't have like a team member or yourself that has the build to deal with it with like the shield and stuff is a bit annoying because
Yeah.
it's like, how do you close the gap? Unless you've got one of the classes that you can close the gap with like the
I
grapple
use
hook
a
and that.
grappling
It's-
hook. That's
it's
how
a
I
bit-
close the gap.
Yeah, I don't have a class to close the gap. I just go, oh, stop shooting me,
Stop
stop it.
it. Noxborn says, am I mistaken to believe I found Briar Rabbit doppelganger in Dubai? He showed a picture of a very handsome dude hanging out in the pool. He's
Could've
got
been
more
Briar.
hair than me, but not as good a tan,
Well,
frankly.
It is a man with a beard.
It is a
So
man
it
with a
is
beard.
Briar.
It's Briar.
Y'all looking for Ghost of Yōtei? Yes, definitely. AQI is
Hell
161, by the way. Send help. 161? Is that in Dubai?
I think so, yeah.
Wait,
Wow.
What'd you say?
100 air quality index.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
161.
Should
We
we
need
do
an
a
air
quick
quality
AQI
update.
update?
Yep, everyone grab your phones.
Stop the show.
We need an air quality update from
Yeah.
all of chat, everyone
How's
on
everybody
YouTube.
looking?
We
Yeah,
need-
that's in
we
the
need
red.
everybody.
That is unhealthy.
Yeah.
Minus
What do I
28.
do?
Maroon or Ben, yeah.
Air quality.
28.
Index.
Perf.
I got a 24 currently.
Oh, Briar's winning in the
yeah,
good
I'm
air.
in
doing
San
pretty good.
Francisco. I'll beat that. Oh, wait, a 24? Are you serious?
Oh, you're not gonna beat that in San Francisco.
No, I
Are you
can't beat
crazy?
that. No.
Can't be that. What's yours, Fran?
Um,
I just checked on my phone.
actually, I don't know. It says 17.
Oh wow,
It says
that's pretty good.
I'm gonna double check.
You must
Yeah.
get that sea breeze coming in.
See,
Huh?
I checked on my phone because it's accurate
Among
as
you.
to my current location.
Yeah.
No, yeah, 17, 18, Briar.
Wow.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
I'll take it.
Okay, wow.
Unbelievable.
I got 22.
That's
We're
awesome.
gotta
all
be the
living in
CBD.
pretty good air
Yeah,
places.
loving it. Just look at me
Very fun.
breathing.
We
Ah.
can breathe.
Hey, that's the air quality outside, Briar. I'd like to get an air quality inside that room of yours in there.
So, you know what's kind of funny is
All
I
that
just set up.
vape and paint fumes. Like, it must be bad
I
inside
just
Briar's room.
Oh no! I just set up like I can't show it. Can you see it? Computer fan in the window.
Oh, yeah. We believe it.
Wait. Where I live, it's saying 4.
That,
What?
I don't, that sounds fake.
You might be using, I think there's also different like air quality indexes that different countries use.
IQ air map.
Do you not have a phone, Myelin?
Yeah,
I've got
normally
a
your
phone.
weather app
Yeah,
has
on
that.
your
Right, on your
weather
weather app.
I don't have a weather app. I look outside. I look
Okay.
outside.
Yeah,
It
you're probably
looks
looking at the
cloudy.
PM or something, Island.
Maybe a
but I
little
don't know.
smoky. It's slightly
okay.
orange, therefore a little stinky.
Bugo16 says you
that?
got themselves a PS5 Pro for Monster Hunter and Ghost 2.
I will
one.
eventually, but I don't
pretty
have to
good.
Trying
right
to get
now.
one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be playing it. I'm not going to be playing WoWs on there. I'm going to be playing it on PC because I need at least 80 FPS.
At least minimum.
At least minimum.
Have you guys seen the
Yeah.
rumors of the new 50 series cards coming from Nvidia?
I have heard the
No.
rumors. Bring them out so I can get Tobo's current one.
I mean,
So it's a
Big
4090.
honking big balls, apparently.
I mean, isn't that like every release? Is that? I mean,
I
the
was
rumor
not
any
impressed by
different
the
than
40
normal?
series at all, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, compared to the 30
I
series.
mean, I think it's relative, but yeah,
Yeah.
I see what you're saying when it's made like really huge leaps
yeah,
versus
the 20
like,
series I
only-
was also
Yeah.
not that impressed with.
I
Yeah,
really
they're
like
all
my
better.
3090.
It's the
3090 is
price.
like a really good card.
3090 is
It's
a
the-
good card.
I actually think like they've
Dollar by
all
dollar.
been solid. It's the prices that people have been like, what for this, right? Because that's
Yeah.
where the relative
I
part
think
is. You're
that's
like,
fair.
wait, I'm paying like a 1,200 now when the leap is not as big, and like that's
Yeah,
where
I'm
the
paying
problem's been.
1,200 for a 12% increase in frame rate.
Exactly.
I'll see you in 2 years.
But
How about that?
but was there a leak on like release window yet or no?
No, apparently it's been delayed. So, you know,
Yeah.
usually
It
they
would
come
have
out
come out now.
around this time. So, you know,
Okay.
chips are hard to get right now.
Yep.
Grimlock says, have you seen Transformers 1 yet? I highly recommend it. What is Transformers 1? Anybody got a...
Oh, is that the anime?
Oh, is there an anime? What's it
No.
on?
I thought they were
Let me
talking
check.
about the old Michael Bay movies. I was like, well, that's out of the blue.
See
It is.
that.
It is an animated movie.
What's it on?
Oh, it's an American animated movie. I'm sorry.
Even
Uh-oh.
better.
It's got Chris Hemsworth in it as Optimus Prime.
Oh, it's in theaters. No, I have not
Scarlett
seen
Johansson's in there.
Huh?
Okay, yeah, I would
Lawrence
check that out.
Fishburne.
Oh wow.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't even know it came out, honestly.
Dear
This is the first time
me.
hearing about it.
Okay, it's exciting.
I did see, though, that next month, the League of Legends anime TV show season 2 is coming out.
Arcane.
Yeah.
Yep, Arcane is coming out. There's 3 episodes, and then that's it.
Ooh.
That's it? Over?
That's
Forever?
the end of for Arcane. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I assume they're gonna
that's-
probably do different sections of the lore for
It's
League.
going to take them another 4 years to do it?
It's gonna take a long time. That animation is ooh.
How many
Crazy.
episodes were in season 1?
Was it also 3?
Was it?
Hmm.
Boy, it felt so
Wasn't
big.
many.
Okay. Well, I'm
Oh
looking
man,
forward
on
to
the
it.
topic
nonetheless.
of streaming stuff, it is worth noting the new season 2 for Last of Us teaser went out. And man, that looks good. There's a lot of in-game reference
Ooh.
shots that I
Yeah.
was like, wow, they nailed it.
When's
yeah,
that
season
coming out?
2.
Do you know?
Oh, I don't. I'll look it up while we talk. But then I know a lot of people have been watching The Penguin, and I saw good responses. But I don't know.
I started
Anybody
watching
watch
it,
The
yeah.
Penguin? Yeah.
Mm.
Thumbs
liking
up
it?
or
What's
Yeah.
that on?
Yeah.
HBO Max.
Oh,
HBO.
Yeah,
okay.
whatever the Australian version, binge, whatever bullshit
Clearly
I
we
need
have
to
over
correcting
here.
correct
it, and
something
he'd
really
be
quick.
freaked
It's
out.
9 episodes, 3 acts.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. 9 episodes, and
Well,
then that's the end.
Wait,
I'm gonna hold
Penguin?
that one against you.
No, for Arcane.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Okay, Penguin's good, huh?
I've heard
Yeah.
Penguin is incredible.
Okay.
I didn't
watch
realize
Penguin.
it's Colin Farrell. I had no idea. Like, because
Penguin
he's
suit.
The Penguin is Colin?
yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was somebody else that he looks. It's funny because I saw a little bit of
You-
it. And I was like, it looked like one of these actors. I couldn't place my name on it. But anyway, that's Colin Farrell.
You-
I forgot.
You wouldn't guess. Like, we got halfway through, and Danny's like, "Do you know it's Colin Farrell?" I was like, "What? Oh, I see it now." Like, it's
Uh,
good.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it is good.
Good
It does
for
look
him.
good. Colin Burns says, "Hey everyone, hoping you're having a great night. Are any of you planning on replaying Ghost of Tsushima before the sequel comes out? Also, just want to let you know that for the last couple of episodes, the volume of the podcast has been oddly quiet." Okay, I can work with that.
Oh.
My bad, Collins. I'll
Uh-huh.
work on that
Well,
tonight.
thank you.
See if I can fix that up for you.
Check those DBs, Briar.
Right?
It depends when it comes out. If it's scheduled to come out in like a pretty slow period, then I'll be like, yeah, sure, let's play Ghost of Tsushima. I got nothing else to do. But it's 2025, so I
Yeah,
will be
it-
playing Monster Hunter Wild, so that
Yeah.
would be a no for me.
Not
Yeah,
looking
it's
good.
like aspirationally, I'd
Yeah.
love to like replay. Always when there's something big, but it's just like from a use of time, I think most gamers, you'd way better off playing something else.
And considering that like we
unless
got a
you're
new
huge into,
character
like-
300 years later, I'm guessing that there's not going to be a huge story tie-in. Probably safe to
Yeah,
say
that's a
I
good
can just
point.
drop into this, no problem.
Mm.
You'll catch those little things, but
Yeah.
but
I'm
yeah.
more
I
likely
only,
to play
I
some
only
Legends,
played it for
honestly.
I only
Mhm.
played it for the first time beginning of this year, I think it was. So, and loved it. So, I'll probably won't play it again before
Mhm.
the new one.
I'm waiting for the remaster, but
Kyle Moulton says 1 raid a year and no hope for Wrath, Leviathan, etc. Returning really sours the taste in my mouth on Destiny. What cocktail goes? You son of a bitch, Kyle. We're moving on. Ang says,
I like that. I like
Almost
the
got
use
Briar.
of gamer anger to bait Briar. I like that. That's good.
Well done.
Ang
That's
says, is SRL the only thing that can save Destiny
SRL.
now? For real
Yes.
though, what are your favorite restaurants to eat at, whether it's fast food, fancy sit down, or all in between?
So I mean, Taco Bell's good, right?
I mean, it's classic, right?
When you
award-winning
decide to
Mexican
send
food.
it, you're like, yeah. We're like, should we? And then you send it, and you go with the Baja Blast, and you get the cinnamon thingamabobs. You just full send it.
You're
You're like,
gonna have
yep.
Baja Blast.
We'll
Yep.
send it. It's
Real
right.
sit-down
You know
meal.
where you're
Full
sending
send
that.
I am very.
Mine just has beans in it, so it's,
Yeah,
it's
there you
pretty
just have it.
safe. It's pretty safe.
As much as I like fast food and all, like for real, sit down Indian food, a really good
yeah.
Indian spot.
Yeah, that's fun.
Oh yeah.
is curries, man. Oh,
I feel like
Mhm.
I don't feel like I've ever been to a bad Indian spot.
I got food poisoning from one once, so I can definitely tell you that.
That sounds
happened. It was bad. It's just my favorite thing, but I also maybe in the no, probably a little different, but
What's your go-to dish? Like,
what's the word? Izakayas.
Izakayas
Yes.
are fantastic.
It's basically just like appetizer style Japanese.
And it's
eating,
like
right?
everyone, it's like all you can drink usually, and
Oh
you
my
just
God,
have
it's so
small
fun.
plates come out, and everyone's just there
Yes.
hanging out, drunk,
It's-
Oh,
eating,
yeah.
whatever.
that sounds great.
It's
That's
so
that's
good.
my scene right there.
Yeah.
Top tier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I do like sit down stuff, I prefer to like taste a lot of like little dishes rather than just have like a single
Yeah.
big meal
Mhm.
and then just heaps of cocktails. Just like
Yeah.
good cocktail
Let's
list
go.
and then just lots of trying different stuff. That's the best.
That is
Yeah.
fun.
And you're sharing it with everyone, you're just chatting away. That's good.
Yeah, that's the best.
Like if you could rank restaurants like 1 star, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 stars, right? And 4 stars are like top of the line. I really enjoy like a 2.5 star to 3 star steak place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it's not going to be crowded. You don't have to wait, but it's really just a solid steak place.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I just fucking love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had
I'm
a
always down for
really
that.
good pub down the road. They just like did good meals and they came out really quick. It was always
Yeah.
packed, but like if you didn't want takeaway and you wanted something a little bit more homely, you could just walk in, get a table, get a meal in like half an hour, and it'd be good.
I like
and
that.
walk out.
I'll give a shout
I don't
out
like
for
paying for
anyone
takeout
who's
anymore. It's
local
too
as
expensive.
well. Oh, it's
Anyone's
so
what?
expensive.
Yeah.
You can go to so when we were in Japan, we just paid for everyone's because it was a group. We paid for everyone's tab with one card. We could buy food for like 5 people for probably amount we could get for 2 people here.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But that's also because the yen is super weak, so that's that also
too.
helps. But if you're local in like the Seattle-ish area, there's a place called Kobuta and Okami, and it is a katsu and sake house.
Oh,
And
that's
it
pretty
is
good.
really
Sounds like a good evening. That's an
It's
Uber night right
really
there.
good.
Calling an Uber
They
for
get
that
the
one.
shredded cabbage and the sauce.
Yep,
Get it all?
yep.
Oh my god.
You get to grind the seeds up, all of that.
I'm
It's
thinking
really
I need to
good.
come visit Watts.
Right?
I mean, she's
Sounds
paying
fun.
with one card. She's got this awesome
You do have to
place.
pay us back after the.
You didn't say that part.
I'd take you for a meal if you come here.
Maybe I
She's
should.
got a
That's acceptable.
Monster Hunter card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only problem is you got to ride bitch on the Ducati.
Did you guys see there's a super ultimate collector's edition in Japan only for Wilds
No.
that comes with a foldable bicycle?
Sick.
Oh man.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
So
Why not?
I went to the wargaming place this week. And it was an investigatory. I haven't played Warhammer yet, but it was like an investigation. Like I wanted to hey, how do I play? Right? Like how do I how do I sign up to play?
I thought you were gonna say apply for a job at this point.
No.
Like, man, this guy's
So
all
I just
in.
I just walk in and I started asking around. Anyhow, though, what reminded me of that is about half the people there all ride their bikes. I was really impressed. It's like they all have baskets on their bikes. They put all their Warhammer stuff in the basket and they ride their bikes and go play. It's
Wow.
That's
it's really,
adorable.
I thought so too. I'm like, I
That's
like
really
this.
cute.
You
The
know?
Space Marine
Very
community,
healthy.
the cutest patooties ever. Who would've
Yeah.
thought?
Hey, you gotta
I
get
just
those legs
imagine them,
moving
like-
after you spend 18 hours painting your minifigures.
They're either 12.
Yeah, someone in chat is like, and they're 12.
And then another one, they had to sell their cars to afford Warhammer.
Yeah. Also,
Probably because they can't afford fuel. Oh, shit.
Can't afford it.
Twisted Joystick Podcast says, thoughts on the Zelda franchise? Are the games too long or just right? Favorite Zelda game?
I'll just say straight up so you guys can keep going. I don't love Zelda. Continue.
Boo. They're all
You know what?
amazing,
I'm actually
for
with
the
Watts.
most part. Really?
No. So I've just got childhood trauma from it because we had to share a Nintendo 64 with my brother, and he loved Zelda, and I liked 007. And then I would
You're
get
both
one shot on a stage in 007, and then Chris would be like, "Well, I get one shot," and it'd be like 4.5 hours later. I'm like, "Mum, this
Yeah.
doesn't count. You
Doesn't
don't have
add up."
one level in Zelda. The whole thing is a level."
Yeah. I mean, I mean, that's just bad parenting. Why didn't they just give you a time that you had to
Right?
why would you allow that to happen?
I know.
Your parents were you the older child?
Oh, I'm a twin. Same age.
Oh.
He's a twin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know, they weren't really hands-on.
They
with
didn't
that
love me. I know
situation.
that.
No, they love me, Fran. You don't understand. They do. And Fran's like, I don't know.
I don't know about that. Yeah, from the sound of it.
Debatable.
So because of this, though, just so I understand, that's why you don't like Zelda. Is the only reason.
I mean, it's a portion. It is a portion.
My parents didn't love me, so I hate Zelda.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, dude. We're getting real deep in therapy now.
It's Mylin's book, his memoirs.
Okay, tell us more about that.
No, I can appreciate Zelda for being a fantastic game, but I've never super got into more open world games. I get lost. I need a lot of direction with my games.
The new ones do
It's
it
interesting
well.
because it hasn't always been that. And then of course there's you can play Echoes of Wisdom right now, the Zelda game.
Yeah.
With Zelda.
Apparently it's
herself
pretty
in
good.
it, and yeah, and
I got that for Danny for a birthday.
nice
In the lounge room.
People are
Yeah.
saying it's really good. The whole Link to the Past and or whatever style you want to point to.
I
in
still
Zelda
say Link
series,
to the
but
Past is like a greatest of all time game.
the
And
S
I
tier.
think you
It
can
is
play
for
that
me.
game today, and it's still
Yeah,
amazing.
It is.
Or A
It
Link
is
Between
amazing.
Worlds, which is like a spiritual sequel that came out in the 3DS or the DS. I don't remember which one it was for.
Forget, but it's an amazing. They're all really solid. I mean,
Yeah.
give or take. But I mean, look, Breath of the Wild really did, shock and awe. It was really impressive what they did with, the tech, the time period they were in, and again, kind of always bucking the trend. And you got to give Zelda credit for that. I mean, and this, you think of the era when Super Mario 64 came out, which kind of wrote the Bible a lot on like 3D and 3D camera and like just the way it was handled. And then you had like, boom, they come out with Ocarina of Time at the same time, and people were like, oh, like immersive for what it was in that time. And I think Zelda
definitely.
has always
They've
just done
done
a
that
great job.
several times with Zelda, I feel like. It's like really
and
pushed the
without
medium forward.
like speaking parts, everything's just like dialogue bubbles, and it's amazing that they still manage to pull it off. But
It is.
yeah, no, I'm a big fan, obviously.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big fan too. I don't necessarily love every entry in the franchise, but I almost kind of like respect them, even though if I don't like them. But like some of them are some of my all-time favorite games.
Yep.
Blandon McBlanderson says, rate yourselves on a 0 to 10 scale in the following tasks. 1,
Okay.
driving. 2,
Are we gonna-
folding laundry. How fast, how good is the fold? 3, throwing crumpled paper balls into a trash can from a distance. 4,
Not bad.
getting out of bed in the morning in a timely fashion.
Really bad.
That's going to be a tough one.
There's a lot.
That's a 0 for sure.
5, being on time for stuff.
That's also a 0.
All right, let's go with driving first. How you guys? Good drivers?
I think so.
9. I'm a 9.
9?
Yeah.
Maybe go
excellent
with an
driver.
8.
I think I've only ever had one accident, and it was someone crashing into the back of me, not the other way around.
Same.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a
I haven't had one
7
yet. I don't go anywhere.
if I'm paying attention, and a
That's like you're a
5,
based on-
and a 5
Yeah, no.
if I'm not.
You're a 4
But
or
I
5
consi-
that thinks they're a 7.
I consider
Oh,
a 10
that's
to
dangerous.
be like an F1 driver, and
That's
a
a
9
different
is
kind
like
of-
a NASCAR driver.
That's a totally different thing. But
No, it's not. It's driving.
Oh, you got to pay attention to
racing,
traffic and the road rules and kids running out into the car and animals everywhere.
There was a
It's-
lizard on the
it's
track
wonderful.
last weekend at F1.
There was a lizard. Yeah, I saw.
all right, we got driving out of the way.
All right, folding laundry. I'm a 2.
I'd probably
Yeah,
go with a
1
2.
or 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably a 2. Yeah.
My wife is at least a
Yeah,
4
pretty
because she
bad.
can do the fitted bed sheet, which I find to be impressive. She makes that fold
I just
flat.
don't have the patience.
Oof,
Anything that
no,
costs,
yeah.
I'm like a 3 or 2. Yeah, pretty bad.
Throwing crumpled paper balls into a trash can from a distance. I think I'm
I'd probably
6.
go with like a
5
7.
or 6. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've had
I
a
was
lot
gonna
of
say
them.
6.
I mean, I would say I'm a bit like, how often do you have just paper lying around now? That's
It happens a
my
lot
issue.
less
Bella
than
likes-
it
Bella
used to.
likes
Good
to
point.
shape paper balls that I scrunch up and throw, so I
Yeah.
have a lot of practice.
You recycle
that
some mail,
specifically.
like. But I
Yeah.
haven't done it lately. We actually, the thing that we used to do is it was a partially undrank like plastic soda bottle,
Yeah.
So it had like a water bottle,
Oh, the
but
flip.
and you'd throw it in a garbage can at a distance. And so
Oh.
that was, I'd say at that I'm actually more of like an 8.
Okay.
Okay.
A lot of experience in that one.
I know who to call now if I need that skill.
Yeah.
Brad, we got a life or death situation.
Are you pretty good at cornball?
Cornhole.
Cornhole?
Cornhole. Yeah, I was like, wait,
Good at
cornballing?
cornball,
Like the
not so good at
making-
cornholing.
I got banned on Twitter from the cornhole, like the National Cornhole Association. They blocked me on Twitter.
What did you
Really?
do?
Just started asking all sorts of questions. But the main one, honestly, that they blocked me for was I could not understand why there's a separate league for men and women. Like, why does this need to be a
So they were
segregated
like,
sport?
Don't ask questions. We hate women. And then that's how Briar got blocked for a good reason.
I don't know about this cornholing association.
I say we
See it.
cancel them.
Anyhow, though, but I couldn't believe they were playing on ESPN. I was shocked. I'm a 10.
Okay.
I could compete, honestly. I'm really good at
Sounds
that
like
game.
it, dude. Getting out of bed. That was the last one.
I'm better than I'd like to be, honestly. I wake up earlier than I
Yeah.
want to.
But
And
do you
then
get
I'm
out
tired.
of bed when you wake up early?
Yeah, I do.
Or do you dawdle in the bed?
No, my wife's a dawdler. She'd be
I'm a dawdler.
she'd be a 1 out of 10 on this one.
I'm probably, I'm a 0 for
I
sure.
don't. What if you don't have a choice? I don't have a choice to dawdle.
I don't have a
Yeah.
choice either. Yeah.
Well, if you
Yeah.
get out of bed, then you've done it.
But
think
then
it's-
what if I go
yeah.
back to bed?
Yeah, I think you have to rate
I
it
think that's
based
fair.
on that one day you do have, to sleep in. Imagine
Oh,
it
I ain't
exists.
getting
If it does in these days, what would you do? Yeah,
I ain't getting up.
yeah. I'm.
See, I
in-
reckon 7 a.m. still sleeping. That's a sleeping.
I feel like that's sleeping to me too.
7 a.m.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a sleep in.
big time.
7 a.m. is sleeping in for you.
Is sleeping.
Yeah.
5 a.m.
Yeah,
is
That's crazy talk.
5 a.m.
Yeah,
is
5 a.m.
kinda
is
the-
normal. Unfortunately.
Again, if you can, if you could sleep until let's say 8 or 9 or whatever, would you be any good at getting up, or would you sit there and just scroll like TikTok for like 90 minutes?
So I
and be like,
used
I hate my
to
life?
when we first started doing this show when I was like a full-time YouTuber, I used to wake up at like 10 o'clock.
Mm.
But I felt like I was wasting so much of my day, honestly, that I felt bad about it. I didn't like it, so I changed it on purpose. Like I
Going from
decided,
10 to 5.
Well, it doesn't matter
Wasn't like
when
I'll
you
get up at
up.
8
Yeah.
when stores open and I can call
Yeah. Again,
things.
all that's so relative. Though. It's like,
Yeah.
how many hours of sleep do you get? When do you,
Yeah,
do
just when you go
It
to
was more
bed,
about do
really.
you dawdle in bed? Yeah, but anyway, I would say
I see what you're saying.
in general, I'd say
I'm a 0.
I'm like a 6 or 7, depending on my mood. I'm not like brilliant at it, but not horrible.
all right, last one, being on time for stuff.
As a 0.
And
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a 10.
we actually I
improved.
had this fight with Daddy in the car yesterday, okay? Because we were on the way to pick Leo up from daycare, and my parents are traveling, and they're like, "Are you home yet? We'll give you a call." I want to FaceTime because they normally look after that Leo, and he had to go to daycare instead. Like, no, Daddy goes, "We'll call you in 30 minutes." I say, "There's no way we are getting to daycare, picking Leo up," and then she wanted to go to the bottle shop, and then she wanted to go get another thing from the other shops. There's no way we're going daycare, parking, getting out of car, getting baby, coming back inside, driving off, going to the bottle shop, getting some alcohol, going to another shop, and then getting home because it's like 3 o'clock. There's cars everywhere. I was like, this is straight up girl math. This is, you are not doing the math correctly.
Isn't it the math of like, I don't want to tell you it's going to be an hour, so I'm going to tell you it's 30 minutes?
No, my wife
I'll
truly
update you
believes
later.
she gets ready every day in a half an hour. She truly believes
Oh.
this. But
Yeah.
it takes her an hour and 15. I've timed it day after day.
Yeah, if it for
So
me,
we
if
put a
it's
timer on. I said, okay, 30 minutes. And she was running between bottle shops. She's like, just running out of the car. And then I was like, that is the quickest you've ever gone into a
Did she
bottle
make it?
shop and out. So this is a perfect example. We got home.
Mm.
So it was like, and I said 45 minutes. So she underestimated it was exactly 7.5 minutes. She underestimated, and I overestimated by 7.5 minutes.
But she was
So I
running.
Yeah, but
He was
she was.
running.
It was increased pace. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was increased pace. Yeah.
The biggest
well,
fight that me and my wife ever got into in our marriage was when she found out that every appointment that we had, I was telling her was a half an hour earlier than it was.
That's what Tomo does to me.
She
I'm
found
like,
out I was doing that,
understandable. Please continue.
and she was so fucking mad at me because I was lying to her. Right? That's how she saw it. I was
I
lying
get
to her.
it.
But
You're
I was.
helping me.
We were on time for everything.
Brian, I would
Yeah.
have flipped it
Mhm.
around on her. I'd be like, "You're to me when you say you're going to show up on time and you don't."
Yeah,
I'd be
you're
like,
lying.
"That-
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
even."
No, I like it when people do that. It's very helpful.
It's a way of life.
It's very
Yeah,
helpful.
I'm with you, Watts. I'm like, oh, actually, I'm happy you mentioned that because I was late.
Yeah, I'm like,
But
I'm glad you do, because now maybe I'll be on time.
Yeah.
I might
I was-
still be late.
I was gonna say, for me, if it's like an actual like appointment for like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
business meeting, or like it's within the context of like, hey, this is like not just hanging out, right? Then
Right.
I'm actually, I'd say I'm pretty good, a 7 or 8. But if it's like friends in a group and like they're like, we're meeting at 8, I'm like, oh man, I'll probably be there 8:45 or something. 'Cause
Yeah, or
I'm
they're like,
What-
you- or,
Yeah.
or what do you think when they say the party starts at 6 and we're like, we have to get there at 6? I'm like,
No, well,
No,
parties
no.
is
But
different.
that's
You don't want to be the
different.
first one at a party.
sure it's 7,
No.
maybe.
If
6:30.
I
Whenever I'm
get to
ready.
somebody's house and I'm the first one there, I'm driving. I'm like not pulling into that driveway. I'm gonna keep driving.
Yeah.
I'll go to like a liquor store or something. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
be the
but
first
you're
one at
just like
somebody's
this.
house at a party.
Is anybody
Not
there
happening.
yet? I don't think so. Just gonna hang out here with my coffee until
Like, is
somebody arrives.
Okay,
Like,
but the
they're
real
always still
test is
getting
the
ready,
cinemas.
getting out of the shower. You feel uncomfortable. I don't want to be
The
there.
real test is what?
The cinemas, the movies. Like,
Oh.
do
Oh,
you get
I'm
there
early.
right on time? Do you get there when
Early.
the ads are playing? Do you
I
get
get
there
there when the
before?
ads
Get
are
your
playing.
seat?
Well, no, so I
Like,
get there
nah.
with plenty of time to get drinks and if we want
Exactly.
a snack
Yeah.
and get in. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
reserved seats obviously now are mostly the thing, and so in,
True.
in
That's true.
context of that, like, yeah, no, I mean, I don't mind anywhere from 30 minutes before to like 15 to 20. Well, because I like to also make sure I like had time, use the bathroom, blah blah blah. Didn't have to like rush between those things, and sometimes there is a line to get like concession snacks.
Yeah,
and
if it's
that
like a
pisses me off.
super popular movie, you want to
Yeah.
get there a bit earlier. But if it's something else, you can kind of show up,
Like
probably like 15 minutes
Transformers
before.
1.
It's probably fine.
But yeah,
Probably.
like it, and to put it in more, I like to be all completely settled, coats put away, snacks placed nicely
Yeah.
away, etc. And in the seat, like ideally, like 5 to 10 minutes before those previews even start, and just like
no.
relax.
I'd like
get my
to
heart
get
rate
there
down.
and instantly be entertained.
Okay, that's good. Entertain me instantly.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure.
You know what's weird is when I was a kid, I would never let anybody eat any popcorn or snacks until the movie started. Not previews either. The movie.
I'm kind of like that. I try to keep myself from doing that. I feel like I'm ruining the snack. Like, that's a whole different discussion.
I'm
but I think
ruining
you're-
people's experience by waiting
No,
waiting.
because then I'm
no, it's-
making noise the whole
No,
way.
you don't make noise eating. Like what? How loud are
You,
you?
you
gonna
can
be
shut your
eating
mouth
this?
while you chew.
Mhm.
Putting your hands in the popcorn.
No, I think it's experiential, right? It's the movie trailer of like, oh,
Yeah, what,
you're in the
you
popcorn,
Americans,
the lights are
you
flashing.
cheer anyway. You bloody
You
cheer and say all sorts
No.
of shit during the movies. from what
Those
I've seen.
people need to go.
Mm.
If you're those out, we're watching a movie. Like,
That's
there's
why
a
you go
reason
to
there's
the
a
18,
sound mix.
no, sorry, the 21 plus movie theater with the cocktails and the burgers.
Yeah.
Cocktails are good, but
Wow.
I'm more likely to start talking during a movie with
I
cocktails.
know. Well, some of my friends
Briar
like they
turns to the person. Hey,
Yeah,
you
we
see
have-
that? That's crazy.
we have like the
What's-
Alamo theater group over here that does that, and like I have some friends who are like, I just won't go. That's what happens. People start getting tipsy and drinking. They're getting up
Yeah.
all the time using the bathroom. And
Oh
like,
yeah, you
they just
definitely
it
gotta eat
ruins.
more often.
Yeah. So I like it, but like for that reason, if it's a serious movie I'm excited about, I'm like, I don't like. I'm also I like to be in like 3/4 back, dead center, and that
Yeah,
too. All of
perfect.
that. I'm super big on like the experience. I pick my
I'm
theaters
learning.
too. Yeah.
I can go to the cinemas with Fran, but not Watts.
Wait, why not me?
Didn't you say you were getting there late?
No,
was
I
that
said I'm
Briar?
getting there with enough time to get
Oh.
the food and get in the seat
But
and
she-
see the previews.
She was gonna
Brian,
like
you're
shove all
uninvited.
those. Yeah. Briar's the problem.
Well, you know what I do? I
Fazmo.
actually get an icy at the movie theater, a large
Ooh.
one, and I just sip on that throughout the whole movie.
That's a
That's
good
nice.
one.
Is
Yeah.
that like a slushy?
Yeah.
All flavors, of course. And they always go, "We have this. Are you
brown.
sure?" I'm like, "Yes." It's impossible for it to taste bad.
Yeah.
Always
It's
good.
sugar and water.
All the flavors.
You
Yeah,
guys
it's,
have
it's fine.
do you have gold class, which is like it's like a cinema but only has like 10 seats in it?
No.
No.
There's like the
That's called
kind of
my
like
living
the,
room.
Theaters, but
the reclining movie
Yeah,
theaters
yeah.
with the
That's nice.
menus
And they-
and all of that.
yeah,
they
like they bring you
yeah.
they like you order your food like proper meals and they bring them to
Proper
you. and
meals,
stuff.
yeah.
I don't want a
yeah.
proper meal
Those
on
are
me when watching a
great.
movie though, because then I'm like trying to like cut
It's
my
hard to
food. I'm
see.
looking down.
It
It is
hard
hard.
to see.
It's hard to see. That's
Yeah.
why I eat
Well-
it. I get it during the previews, and then you get the ice cream for the movie.
Like even like
get your
nachos.
dessert.
Like people be eating nachos in the movie. I'm like, that's a lot of work. Like for movie
is a lot of
theater.
work.
What are
So,
you doing?
Yeah.
I know this is a touchy subject, Briar, so I'm gonna say something. So
Are you mentioning
I
fries?
once memorably, I swear it was like Lord of the Rings or something too. Went in and like no shot, like a couple people brought in like full on barbecue, like slathered ribs, were smoky. Like man, they cracked open the styrofoam container. Like during I was like, what is going on?
Dude,
Like in what
that
world?
is like a messy meal. Like you got like
wild.
barbecue all
you
over
can't
your
touch
fingers.
anything.
As soon as those lights come on, you're gonna be like, oh.
Dude, it was wild. I was like, what's this? Is
They're
wild.
like sit down and go.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, dude, it was just the
You wish.
containers and like,
You
man.
wish they did that.
Oh my God.
I would love to. Maybe if I go to like, maybe it's normal though in some place. You go to Italy or something, they just got a whole plate of pasta. You know, like, I don't know. It was
Wait,
wild.
are you allowed to just bring any food you want into the
No.
cinemas there?
But who's gonna
Yeah,
stop you?
That
You know,
was
like-
this is a while ago
Yeah.
where
The
I don't even know.
17-year-old kid's not gonna chase you down and say, "Put that down."
My
It's
wife,
illegal.
my wife still goes to the store and buys candy and like smuggles it in. She thinks she's getting away with something, and then I just walk over and buy like $18 worth of popcorn anyway. Like,
Yeah.
True.
Yay.
should we wrap this one up, guys?
Yeah.
All right.
Good
Cover
show.
that.
Time to
guys.
eat.
I'm glad we got our
Lots of
movie
fun.
plans figured out. This is good.
I have Panera bread. By the way, guys, if you didn't know, the autumn squash soup is back at Panera bread.
Oh,
Very important
okay.
announcement.
How salty is that?
I don't know how salty. It doesn't taste that salty
Okay.
compared to the other ones. It's like it's good.
All
It's
right.
real good. It's
is-
just squash.
We are in like full on
And
pumpkin
pepitas.
spice season right now.
Yep. I was like, dude, they have it. It's autumn. It should be
Yeah,
there. It's
it's
there.
I like
Thank
hearing
God.
about that as opposed to the whole Starbucks pumpkin spice thing. Yeah, this I like.
Watch your mouth,
Pumpkin
Fran.
Yeah,
spice
the,
thing.
Watch your
the
fucking
autumn
mouth.
squash.
I like the pumpkin spice, but I'm like, man, like
Briar.
relax.
His whole house is pumpkin spice.
Yeah, I
His
do
house
like it.
outside might be orange.
All right. Cool. Great show. Is Myelin gonna stream right after this? Is that happening?
Monster Hunter
Yeah.
Addiction, baby.
Nice.
Myelin, I need to see you watch the new stuff from today.
Copy
I
that.
demand it.
Copy that.
Thank you.
I'll do it.
Thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe out there. Don't run over any lizards in your F1 car. Bye.
Well, don't run over livers either.
Or
Keep
livers.
livers away from your tires.